The 2 weeks is over, baby. 'Tis the season to go win another Lombardi. Come join us. Let's go. Why am I getting so much kickback from something?
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time. Welcome in, everybody. This is the A2D Radio Super Bowl Roundtable Show. We got hosts from all different shows. We'll get through them. We'll have more guys coming on. We'll give you the rundown on everybody. Rob Brinkman, Sports Hounds, Michael Chromiak, everywhere. Jimmy Rodweiler, everywhere. Ralph Del Vecchio, everywhere, mostly Wednesdays. Marcus Thomas, Pro Fan Talk, every Thursday, 7 p.m., A2D Radio. Ryan Brodo, every Wednesday. A2D Wednesday nights. So we're jam-packed. Tom Arnone, I do a little bit of everything. We're here. It's the day. It's finally the day. And throughout these 2 weeks, I think I speak for all of us, we had some ups and downs, right? And just our energy and our focus on this football game, right? I think that's just the way it is when you have 2 weeks off. You don't know what to do with your hands for a while, right? And you're like, well, you keep talking about the same things over and over and over again. And you're trying to look for reasons, one way or the other, to sell yourself. But listen, I'm excited. I know all the guys on are excited. So we'll get into everything. Players of the game, our score predictions, and our main topic, Eagles versus Chiefs, Super Bowl pregame show, ties right into our poll question. And our poll question is brought to you by Primo Hoagies. You can find them right on the web, primohoagies.com. We'll have Eric on with us in a few minutes, Chief Operating Officer for Primo Hoagie. So excited to talk to him. And they put together a great spread for our Hurt So Good tailgate for the NFC title game. So win-win day on that day, right? Win-win. Everybody ate great, drank well, right? We actually were able to get a show off without a glitch, unlike today. So, but here we are. The show must go on, and the Eagles season must go on for one more day. Our poll question that we'll all get into, and we'll all have questions for you too. Everybody came in with a question, and obviously we want to get to your comments in the chat, most importantly. And our poll question for today's pregame show, the Eagles defense will be the most important factor in the Super Bowl. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, join the conversation with us, and we'll read it all off. And a little up the ante. You nail the score prediction for the Super Bowl. That's $500, Venmo, Cash App, whatever you got. If you nail it, got to nail it. Offense and defensive player of the game, as always, is the tiebreaker if we need it. Haven't even needed that because guess what? Nobody's nailed it all year, boys. So, listen, I don't know. These poll questions are hard. They really are at this point. I mean, you're playing the other best team in football, right? So when I look at Super Bowls, I look at, man, I need everybody's important, right? It can't be just one side of the ball more important than the other because they both got to help each other. And we talked about it this year. The biggest key for the Eagles defense was playing with a lead. They played with a lead a lot, right? And that's not a shot at them. It just helps when you have great pass rushers like we do and a great front like we do that, hey, if I can play with a lead, my life's a little easier. My schemes are a little easier. What I can do is a little easier. So, I'm going to disagree because I think the most important factor in the Super Bowl tonight is this offense. This offense has to try to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. This offense has to get this football team a lead. Doesn't have to. Like they can be down and still win, right? But the way I look at it is they got to do what they've done all year, right? Score first, score early, and score often. And allow your guys that you pay a lot of money to up front to go get Patrick Mahomes. That's the goal for me today, all right, is to play with a lead, sustain drives. When I'm in the red zone, finish with 7. You ain't playing Brock Purdy and the Niners. You're not playing Daniel Jones and the New York Football Giants today. You are playing the best quarterback in the National Football League. And everybody in the country knows you better match. You better match. You better not be kicking field goals, no matter how great our defense is, right? No matter how great they've been. He's still going to get his. He's still going to get his, most likely. You assume. So how do you answer that? You can't play in the 30s. You want to keep this at 27, 24 in that area. But you got to score first. You got to score often. And you got to play with a lead. And I think that will benefit this defense tremendously. So I'll put the offense as the main factor. So I'll disagree. What does everybody say out there? Who is it to you? We'll circle the board. And we'll have Eric on with us in a minute. So if you guys want to jump right into it, whatever way you guys want to go. Similar to Wednesday's poll a little bit, but a little bit different.
I'll go real quick. I completely agree with your sentiment, Tom. So I'll just piggyback off of what you said. That way we can keep it moving. Obviously, both things are important, right? And you have an argument for the defense too, just because this is a defense that you can argue that Patrick Mahomes really hasn't seen anything like since that Super Bowl a couple years ago, where he only put up 9 points. Now I know the offensive line situation is completely different for the Patrick Mahomes. They're actually healthy and they're way better than they were. But you can argue, like we've talked about before, that this defense is as good, if not better, than that Tampa Bay defense that obviously was the big factor in winning that Super Bowl for them for a couple years ago. I have to go with the offense being the most important because I have them scoring 31 points. Like if I had this being like a 23-20 game where it's low scoring, maybe some turnovers mixed in, I'd be like, oh, okay, it could be a gritty, tough battle, but I think both teams are going to score points. And the biggest thing, which I completely agree with Tom, which I don't think we really touched on in past shows, is that when you play Patrick Mahomes, you can watch it when they're playing any team, not just the Eagles. The first couple of quarters, it's kind of like, down by 10 points or whatever. And you have a situation where he just comes back in the fourth quarter and wins. Now you have a situation where we've really been playing with leads the entire season. And you don't want to be in a situation where you have to come back from 10, 14 points against Patrick Mahomes. So you got to get out fast. You got to get out early. I think they're going to do that. So I'll go with the offense as my most important factor.
Yeah, and they've done it all year, right? Yep. So that's why you've played. That's why you were the number one seed. That's why you're playing in the Super Bowl, right? You've played with leads. It's just easier. Not saying that's the end all be all. They can come back. It's not like they can't come back. Like that's not what we're saying. If they were down 10-0, they can answer. They can score. So that's not our problem. But in a game like this, you want to throw the first punch. You know what I mean? You want to land the first real jab or real haymaker per se. If it's 7 early, we'll go with Eric next. Eric, Chief Operating Officer, Primo's Hoagies. We're excited to have you on. We appreciate everything you guys did for our tailgate for an NFC title game. Before we get into everything, Primo's, let's get right into the poll question. I don't know if you saw it, Eric. I'll pull it back up for you. The Eagles defense will be the most important factor in the Super Bowl. Do you agree or disagree?
Agree. We got to take it to Mahomes. We got to get to him quick. 100% agree. Let's do it. How exciting is this?
Oof. Very, very exciting.
It's great. It's great. If I didn't have technical difficulties, I'd probably be more excited right now. You know what I mean?
There we go.
But besides that, I'm excited.
Big game. Woke up at 3 a.m. today. Couldn't sleep. I'm out here at Primo's. We got hoagie trays all over the place. Not too late to order your game day trays.
Yeah, my mom already ordered one for today, so we're definitely going to be snagging up some hoagies today. So I'm very excited for that.
Good stuff.
Along with the game.
Awesome. Good
yeah,
stuff.
Good stuff. I mean, that's a busy. I mean, it's never a problem, right, Eric? When the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl, it's never a problem for business, right? Nobody's going to complain.
Our team's been here since midnight. They got in at 12 a.m. We got hoagie trays everywhere. We got trays for days here. Our staff did a good job all over, up and down. All 96 stores are doing a great job today. Obviously, with the Eagles, most of our stores being in this area, it's going to be our busiest day ever. We want to make sure everybody makes their party primo. So, couldn't be more excited. We got the Eagles, we got primos here with you guys. What a great day.
Can't script it any better, as some people around the NFL like to say. Jimmy, we'll just keep circling and then we'll get into obviously like score predictions and all the other fun stuff. But Jimmy, just to keep it moving,
yeah,
what do you say to the poll?
I'm going to piggyback off of Eric. I do agree to the poll. I do think the defense will be the most important factor, just for the simple fact that I think this offense is going to jump off to an early lead. And when that happens, if we're up by 8-10 at halftime, I don't need Jonathan Gannon going into the soft zone defense or just the nonsense we've been seeing. I'm still hung up on the Cowboys loss because of whatever the hell that coverage was. But
we're playing in a Super Bowl.
No.
Stop.
If that happens again today, and I'm gonna lose my mind. So Jonathan Gannon and I'm 14 points in 2 playoff games. So you can't really criticize him, but he has to keep his foot on the gas when we go up by 8 points, 10 points today. So I'm gonna agree to the poll. Defense most important factor.
Okay. Crow.
You obviously know where I'm going here. I got to agree to the poll. And listen, you guys make a lot of great points. I do think they need to come out offensively. They need to punch them in the mouth, and they need to get out and set a tone. I think Jalen needs to come out and throw the football and set that tone. However, at the end of the day, this team needs to figure out a way to contain the offense. The Kadarius Tonys, those guys like that, you can't let those guys beat you. You know Travis Kelce's going to get his. You know that Patrick Mahomes is going to be able to make plays. But this defensive front needs to do what it's done all season. They need to get to the quarterback. They need to create pressure and try to create turnovers here. And if you can get 2 turnovers against this offense, you got a real shot at locking this down, because I believe that the offense will do enough or more than enough of what it needs to do. I have faith in Jalen Hurts. He's had 2 weeks to be able to let that shoulder recover. And it seems like, you hear a lot of hearsay and everything else, but I believe when the coaching staff comes out and says he's not limited, playbook is open, I believe that. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to show that. And if the playbook is open and this defense can and I think they're going to need to contain the Kansas City offense to around no more than 25 points, let's say, 26 points. This team has a real shot to win this football game. So I'm absolutely agreeing to the defense and agreeing to the poll here.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I think you're banking on that I think is tough to bank on is 2 turnovers, right? Like that's my only disagreement. I think it's hard to go in against a guy at his level and say, hey, I got to take it away twice. I would love to, but I think that's a little bit harder to do. But guess what? I mean, we're going to find out. We know no matter what we say today, it probably never goes as we think it's going to go. That's just the Super Bowl for years and years and years. Brinks, what do you say? Agree or disagree?
So I'm not worried about our defense at all. So I guess I disagree. I mean, we did the show on Monday with Brad, and we talked for 5 minutes about where the Chiefs are better than the Eagles. It's Mahomes and it's Kelce, and that's it. And it took us 5 minutes, and they're better, but not that much better. So, am I banking on Marquez Valdez-Scantling and all these other receivers that they're going to burn us? I'm not buying that. And the rush has gotten there all season. I'm just backing up a bunch of points that we've seen for 6 months. Why would it not happen again today? What evidence do I have that this team's going to lay an egg? 0. I think the offense is more important than not more important, but I don't want him to get throw happy. I want him to run the ball. I want him to play Eagles football. I want him to put Jalen in a good position to win. And I was looking at the graphic. I mean, I think I'm the only one that really doesn't have this game being an issue for the Eagles. And look, they're picking it on ESPN right now, and everyone's picking the Chiefs. I love it. We got a good football team. They have a lot of stuff that they have to worry about with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have 2 things that they have to worry about with the Eagles, and one of them ain't at his best. He has a high ankle sprain.
Well, I wouldn't underestimate Pacheco either. He could be a problem.
Stop it.
I think he could be a problem. And if they have to be able to tackle these guys in the backfield,
Jerick McKinnon could be a problem.
Have a lot of issues too there.
Okay, I could come off the bench and be a problem. Anybody could be a problem.
Briggs,
we're talking logical football opinions here, and no, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is not going off. Isaiah Pacheco is not going off. Jerick McKinnon is not going off. The only way the Eagles lose this football game is if Mahomes has 500 yards passing and Kelce has 3 touchdowns. That's their path to victory. That's their only path to victory. The Eagles can throw the ball. They can run the ball. They can play zone on defense. They can play man. They can rush the passer. Like,
the overconfidence is scary.
I don't see how this game is close.
See, you bring up McKinnon, though. McKinnon could be a problem, though.
McKinnon can be a very big problem.
If you want to sit here and worry about
you guys sitting here, are we doing this right now? Like, I agree with Rob.
If you want to be worried and scared
Jared
of
McKinnon keeping you up at night, Jimmy. Jared McKinnon's keeping you up at night. Knock it off.
Everybody's keeping me up at night.
Pacheco, great young player, great rookie running back, runs hard. Physical, I get it. I like him. I think he's got some upside for sure. And he's also going to want to run the ball too.
The one thing out, right?
The one thing this defense has struggled with though is play action, and Jerick McKinnon can catch the ball out of the backfield.
You got to run the play action.
Down to tackling and being able
and he's not going to run the ball. Crone, we saw it for 25 years here in Philadelphia. He's going to get pass happy with his Patrick Mahomes, and he's not going to run the ball. Pacheco's going to have 15 rushes max.
You also forgot to mention Chris Jones.
New poll. McKinnon keeps you up at night. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
I love it.
Why would Chris Jones is a good player, but the other guy, Frank Clark, I don't even think he starts on our team, and we're worried about that. No, they have some decent offensive linemen. So if you rank, Cowherd, who I actually like, unpopular opinion,
great guy.
He ranked like the top 12 guys in the Super Bowl or 10 guys in the Super Bowl, whatever he did. And it was 5-5, which was kind of fair. And I agreed. I didn't agree with his order at all. But if you go to that second half, if you go through 10 through 20, that's all green. And that's the difference in the game.
Good point.
Yeah, great point.
So, they've blown teams out since September. They've run for 200 yards a game since September. Jalen's been great since September. Everybody hates Jonathan Gannon because he's not Jim Johnson. Whatever. If you want to die on that hill, he's probably going to be a head coach. You're going to have a hole to fill.
It's Noah's burner account.
I don't see anything happening today that hasn't happened over the past 6 months of the season.
Are we going to go for 2 when we're up by 30?
Hopefully.
You are the worst. Go for 2 every play. Who cares?
Hey, I got 5 and 2 in the freaking block pool, so
Dude,
I need to go for 2 for some of them.
I will say before Ralphie goes to that list with Cowherd, I do agree with Brink's sentiment with it was a solid list until I saw that Cowherd had Creed Humphrey ranked above A.J. Brown, Haason Reddick, and Jalen Hurts. So I'll just throw that out.
Yeah, but he's just because he picked the Chiefs, right? He picked the Chiefs 28-23. So he's got to find ways to justify his selection. But what did he do? 10 or 12?
Yeah, 23 points is unacceptable from this offense today. Just to throw that out there. Completely unacceptable. No, if that was the case. Unless you win 23-20. But if you only put up 23 points, I think that's a little unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't think you win. I agree with that. But my point is if you doubled his list, it's all green. CJ Johnson's on that list. Defensive linemen for days are on that list. I think he had Laurel on his list. Goddard wasn't on his list. It's just the Eagles are just better. They're just better. And everybody's just trying to make up reasons why Philly can't win and disrespect us to no end. The award shows, we don't get any of that stuff, but we're going to win the Super Bowl in 5 hours. So I'm good.
Ralphie, are you good?
Yeah, I'm great. Woke up today in a great mood. The meatballs are going. The house smells good. We're all good over here. Listen, I disagree. I'm with Brinks too. I disagree. I think the offense has to get going today too. We all know what the defense is. We watched the defense for these past 18 weeks now. We already know what they're going to be. I need Jalen Hurts to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes today. So that means if the Chiefs come down and score, I need us to go back down and score. I need points on the board fast. I need you guys to come out flying today. That's why I think the offense is way more important today than the defense.
Like where your head's at, Ralphie, just like Wednesday. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's
with me and
changed,
you.
baby.
Marcus, what do you say?
Man, listen, defense wins championships, bro. And I'm saying that as an offensive player, as a running back. Defense wins championships. We bring in 78 sacks to the table. to this party. 78. If we get 4 sacks today, we will have tied the all-time NFL record throughout the playoffs and the regular season. These boys ain't playing. I look for Haason Reddick to have a day. I'm looking for because who's on that right side for the Chiefs? Orlando Brown Jr. He's gonna have problems today.
Yeah.
And if we can get Haason Reddick off that edge and push Mahomes to his left, if he runs to the right, he can manage. If he pushes off to his left, where he's got to plan on that high ankle sprain, that's a problem. And if you can get him uncomfortable, he can make mistakes. Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things. We just got to limit it. And I'm hoping they'll put either Bradbury or Gardner Johnson on Travis Kelce, because Gardner Johnson just got that swag to handle him. But Bradbury has had good games against Travis Kelce. So the defense has got to come through with this. We got to push Mahomes off his spot and get him to make the few mistakes he makes. And our defense has got to take every opportunity. You can't drop picks. You can't miss sacks, all of that kind of stuff. We got to come with it today. So I think the offense is going to be fine. I think Jalen Hurts is going to throw the ball a little bit more, because I'm thinking that they might I'm sorry, not throw the ball, but I think we might run a little bit more, because I think they might try to do the mush rush like the 49ers did. So when you're sitting back there, but you have nowhere to throw the ball, that can lead to some things. So if they do that, we can pound them up front, because nobody can hang with our offensive line. Chris Jones or not. Nobody can hang with our offensive line. So that's the fail-safe that we always have. But at the end of the day, if they don't score, they don't win.
No, listen, it's true. It's true. It's just, these two units have done such a great job of complimenting each other all year, and I wouldn't expect them to stop today, right? I mean, I have no reason, like Brink said, to assume that this football team is going to stop doing what they've done great all year, right? And I think it starts off when they like to throw the football early. Can Jalen get into a rhythm early? And that they like to do that to help set up the running game. So, I think that's important offensively. And defensively, you want to keep it a close game so you actually can get pressure, so they don't decide to run the football. But Eric, I know you don't have too much time. I don't want to keep you too long. But we'd love to get a score prediction from you and offense, defensive player of the game.
I'm going 31-27, the QB1 MVP.
Nice.
Let's go. Let's go.
I got a store full of people looking at me looking what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Get him to get that Eagles chant. Let's see. Get him involved.
Let's go. EAGLES, Eagles. All right, a little weak here, but all right. I got one. All right, guys. Enjoy the game. I appreciate you having me on.
Eric, thanks. We'll talk to you soon. Have you on again.
All right, guys.
Get through the craziness today.
See you later. Thanks.
See you. That was Eric, Chief Operating Officer for Primo Hoagies. And you can get your party trays still for the Super Bowl, primohoagies.com. Wherever your closest location is, go check them out. Get yourself a little party tray. Our poll was the Eagles defense, if you're just joining us, will be the most important factor in the Super Bowl. Sort of split, rightfully so on a poll like this, right? Just a weird game. They're just weird. Super Bowls always are weird. You start to think like, okay, we got to do this well, right? You just never know how they're going to play out. You don't know. Guys get nervous. You just don't know. How were guys focused for a week down there, or some guys not focused. You just never know what psyche wise you're getting from players. Are guys too jacked up, right? So it's going to be exciting to see, sort of how we go again here in another Super Bowl. I think a big key for us is having guys and veterans who have been there not too long ago, to sort of settle it down a little bit, settle the nerves down of younger players, etc. But we've also had a lot of young guys here that have played in big time bowl games, etc. So, I think it might make it a little bit easier. Well, we're a young group, but we're like a young seasoned group too. And that's why, I haven't been concerned. I haven't been concerned in 2 weeks. I'm not telling you it's a layup line, right? But I haven't been, nervous. I know who we are. I know how good we are. I know how good we played all year. I know how dominant we've been on the defensive side. It's obvious. I know how dominant we've been on the offensive side in all facets, right? Not just running the football, throwing the football, right? We've done it all. We're the most complete team in the National Football League. And that's the reason we're still here. And that's the reason by 11 o'clock, 10:30, however long they want to drag this on for tonight, when it ends and the confetti's flying, the Eagles are going to hoist their second Lombardi trophy. That's the facts. That's the facts. And that's not taking anything away from how special, of players they have over there. And like Mahomes, Kelce, I get it. Jones, Andy, love Andy. Not today. I loved you for years. Not today. So I think today's going to be exactly what we expect. Umberto, and then we'll get this. I'll get to the super chat in a second. I don't know. He said, "Do you guys see Jason Kelce retiring after the game?" I mean, maybe if they win. I don't know. I don't think that decision should be made right after a football game. I think guys
kind of
got to give them.
Walk away from the game when you're a first-team All-Pro. I mean,
and if he does, Juergens is ready. Juergens is ready now, so I'm good with that.
Well, the problem with
that
that
is him be some type of player coach, but
like we'll worry about the offseason and the draft and all that stuff that people like to
it's too soon.
Tweet about and post about during Super Bowl week. Worry about that later.
Well,
I do think the Eagles should take the football if they win the toss today. Start quick, run the ball, establish identity. It's like a scene at the beginning of Little Giants. Like, we're going to win the toss, we're going to take the ball, and we're going to run it down your throat. If we lose the toss, we're going to take the ball from you, get the ball, and then run it down your throat. Like, I don't know. I even though I still think you got to run to set up the pass. I don't want to get pass happy today. Are they capable of dropping dimes all over the field? Yeah, they have good receivers, and Jalen Hurts is evolved immensely in that aspect of the game. But I still think that you got to run the football, set up the pass, set the tone, set the identity, and build from there. Don't get cute and try and play different. And then the other thing I had was all this stuff about the Eagles not playing anybody and playing a weaker schedule from Giants haters and Niners haters and all this other nonsense. Like, all those arguments go out the window when you win every game by 30 points. Like, they're not the Minnesota Vikings winning 11 one-score games. Like, they have blown teams out for the last 6 months in the biggest, baddest, most competitive football league in the world. So I don't care what their records are. When you win by margin like the Eagles have and been impressive and physical like the Eagles have, that goes out the window. Because I know the Eagles caught breaks. They played the AFC South, which stunk. And but the whole East did. That's probably part of the reason that they had 3 teams in the final 8. And I think it was a deserving 3 teams in the final 8. Like, I don't know. The NFC East is not, this awful division anymore. So you played the South, and what else did we play? Played the
North.
Played the West. We caught break with the Cardinals. Like, you caught breaks. Like, I'm sick of hearing about that. No, because you play another division too, right?
The problem is that there's really only 10 good quarterbacks in this league, and about 15 quarterbacks just flat out that just stink. Like there's 15 quarterbacks in this league on 15 teams that just stink. So it's just simple math. You're going to be playing teams that are bad for the simple fact that it's either bad quarterback play or bad coaching. And I know the cliche is you play who's in front of you. But, like, it is nonsense, Brinks, that these people just have such an obsession with the Philadelphia Eagles that they discredit a team that had a plus-minus margin of 180. Is that what it was? 180 this year, and they're going to say that we stink because we've played Daniel Jones 3 times? I thought Daniel Jones was the best thing since sliced bread.
Sometimes when you play that good, like sometimes when you play that good, people take it for granted, right? And the national media takes it for granted, or fans of other teams take it for granted per se. Like, well, they're not that good. Like, well, to Brinks, to your point, when you're beating everybody by 30, you're pretty good.
Yeah,
you're pretty good.
Good football team.
So I don't care. You play who's in front of you. This is an ebb and flow league. This is a week-to-week league. It's the biggest week-to-week league in sports. Okay, so I mean, you don't know what you're going to get, right? And then when you're playing really good football, then you start getting everybody's best shot too. So that goes with getting off to a 5-0 start, 4-0 start. Teams start circling you. Guys start getting up a little more attention to detail when they come to play you. right? So everything amps up when you're playing really good football. So everybody told me after, not everybody, but Giants fans and idiots were telling us all that, like you better watch out. You better watch out. We got Dory back and we got Xavier McKinney back. Like, you better watch out. That's all I heard. Better watch out.
Yeah.
We beat Minnesota.
We have a healthy defense this week.
Yeah, who stinks out loud, Minnesota. Yeah. So stop it. All right, we all knew they were frauds, and then they come in here and we literally bent over the coach of the year, right?
Lit him up.
We said to you, you want to sign that guy to $100 million? Be my guest, because I'll keep whooping his ass for the next 4 years. Love to have Daniel Jones stay in this division in New York for another 4 years. Please do that. Please sign him. All right, Saquon's probably going to walk. All right, you are what you are. You're frauds. Okay, so but you guys all came in here like you were tough guys that week. We're physical. Coach Brian Dable. You want to know Brian Dable? 3-6-1 in his last 10. So how good? What we talk about all year, right? We talk about
on fire.
Yeah, we talked about early on. I would say all the time. This is not going to last.
Every time the Eagles came up against the best of whatever. When Justin Jefferson came in here, you saw what happened with that.
Shut him down.
When King Henry came in here, you saw what happened with that. Anytime you're the number one rusher in the league and we have your quarterback rush more than you and he only had 38 yards. Then you saw what happened when Aaron Rodgers came to town. Then, to your point about the Giants, they were talking all of that smack about Sexy Dexy and all of that nonsense. And he got handled. Yeah, he got handled.
Yes,
Kelce put the technique on him and put his face in the dirt. So every time we've stepped up to the plate, we knocked it out of the park, and I don't see it being any different today. Chris Jones is a beast. So is Mailata and Lane Johnson, and everybody's forgetting that. Lane Johnson had 2 weeks of rest. Y'all better recognize.
And that's like the narrative with this team, because like everybody forgot. We were 12-1 when Jalen got hurt, and then everything's Clint, whatever it was.
Yeah, we could have been 13-0.
And the point that you guys are making is exactly right, Brinks. When you're blowing teams out, it's not just about winning; it's how you're winning.
How you win.
It's the quarterback coming up to a next level. It's the wide receivers. It's DeVonta Smith taking that jump this year. It's watching guys like Jordan Mailata continue to progress even from last year, and looking at other guys on this team. Miles Sanders stepping up this year, and again, the defense, turnovers. We talked about this how many times, guys, on A2 Wednesday nights. It's been years. How many years did we see where this team could not create turnovers? For the last 5
too many
years,
to count.
Minus the Super Bowl year, it felt like for the last probably 5 out of the last 6 seasons, this team coming into this year, this team could not generate turnovers. And this year, you saw guys, you saw that secondary, you saw what CJ was able to come in and do for this team to help propel that secondary to a next level. And again, you have that front four getting there, getting to the quarterback, timely turnovers with strip sacks and creating, long yardage situations in crucial points of the game. It's not just you can't control who's on your schedule, but it's like you guys said, it's how you perform in those games and the way that you won the games. And they won every football game this year. When they won by 25, 30 points, they didn't just win it one single way, just throwing the ball down the field. It was defensive wins, shutting teams down and giving the offense the ability to put the points on the board all different ways. Sometimes it was the running game. Sometimes it was the passing game. They won multiple ways in blowouts. And that's why you have to look at this team and say, whatever their schedule is fine. And one last thing before you jump in, Tom.
Hey, go ahead.
There was a time about 3 or 4 weeks before the season ended where it looked like all 4 teams in this division could have made the playoffs. If Washington actually had a quarterback.
Well, and Ron Rivera knew that they could be eliminated in Week 17.
We talked about that, right? If Ron Rivera realized they could have been eliminated, you look at it, if that team had a quarterback, it is a legitimate argument that all 4 teams going into the final week could be playoff teams. So this division is much better. And they played everybody in this division twice. And again, you didn't have Jalen for that last Cowboys game, but it's a tough division to win in. It always has been, even when teams aren't good. The matchups in this division have always been tough, and Marcus could speak to it because he played in this division. This is a tough division to always play in, and the Eagles have proven, and they put their foot on everybody's throat in this division and said, this is our division now. you got to go through us.
Yeah, I think that, I think what we talked about earlier on in the year too was like you're saying, Chrome, they found different ways. It wasn't always the same way. Like if you want to get into a little shootout, we'll play that game with you. If you want to get into a dogfight, we'll play that game with you. So whatever way they found ways. And earlier in the year, people were complaining on all our shows, right? We all saw it in the chats, like this was an ugly win or this wasn't impressive. And I'm like, bro, this is the NFL, man. You get to the locker room with wins and they start piling up. Guess what happens? And Marcus can speak for this too. Guys start walking around with more attention to freaking detail. When you're winning like that, everything's more kumbaya when you're winning. When you're losing close games or losing ugly games, it's a little harder to get yourself motivated the next week when you're losing, right? Well, I'm not saying you shouldn't, but that's the way it works.
The pushback on that is you're not wrong. However, the guys that we got steering our ship, Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, especially when Jason Kelce had that press conference when he said, "I don't like when people get comfortable." So that's the theme that's going on in that locker room. You got the right guys steering the ship. You got the right personalities steering that ship, and they don't get too high. You gonna have guys like Big Play Slay, and you got guys like Gardner Johnson, and even BG to a degree that's always popping off. But you got to balance with that too. You got Jalen Hurts, you got Jason Kelce, you got Bradbury. That those guys that really don't say much. They just get out there and do their thing and keep that temperature in the room at the right spot and everybody facing in the same direction. And real quick, I wanted to say, I forget who it was that said something about getting the ball first. You want to get the ball in the second half. So I want to see defense get the first bite to start. You want the offense to have the ball in the second half because of that extended halftime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you until they go down and put 7 up.
Well, I also heard
until we play cover, until we play zone, and we let Mahomes all the way down, and we're like, oh my god, like we let him get comfortable, then we're freaking out, and we'll still end up winning.
I think the last 8 teams that have won the toss have ended up losing the Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. The last 8 teams that have won the toss,
that's about the same as beating a team 3 times in a row.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Wayne's got a good.
Is crazy.
It is weird. Very weird.
And I understand, and I'm the one who brought that up. I understand that, like the analytics of it, like you squeeze out an extra possession if you defer, but I want to set a tone.
Well, I'm not talking about squeezing out. I'm talking about. I don't want Jalen Hurts on the sideline after a 15, 20-minute halftime, and then you come out cold. I want him on the field, get warmed up.
25 years old, man.
Let's get it right.
Well, it depends. Yeah. Depends how he plays in the first half.
Is he up 17-0 like I think he's going to be? Because then he's going to be fine.
Or God forbid the other way, and then we're like,
listen, watch how I'm very interested to see what they do with Miles Sanders and Gainwell, because if Kansas City would be crazy not to attack the running backs and force Jalen Hurts to run on those RPOs because they want to put hands on them. So I'm looking for Gainwell. And like I said earlier, Kansas City's got 2 good run-stopping linebackers, but they can't cover for crap. They are not fast enough to drop back and cover Dallas Goedert or Kenny Gainwell. So we can scheme them and put them in the right formation and take advantage of that. Because I know they're going to come with that 4-2-5. Are they going to bring up that extra corner to play him as a linebacker? Or somebody going to have to cover somebody in the slot or on our edge, and we can take advantage of that. So, again, everybody that plays us, you got to pick your poison. Is it A.J. Brown? Is it DeVonta? Is it Dallas? We got weapons everywhere. They can't hang with that.
It's this or that offense. You know what I'm saying? You can only plan for one, and then they're going to hit you with 2 other options. It's just
that's what separated from us from a lot of teams this year. Where you step on the field, we got 3 guys that can catch eight times for 100 plus yards every game.
Boom.
So like Marcus said, you got to pick your poison. So you're either doubling AJ, DeVonta, or Dallas, but then the 2 other guys are 1-on-1. So let's just have fun with it.
That's why we ran into 28 points so easily all year. There's a reason we walked into 28, and sometimes we're like, that wasn't really an impressive game, but we scored 30. You know what I mean? And it's because it was that easy because of all the talent you have. It's hard to game plan when you got a game plan for a ton of stuff. When you got a game plan for one thing, not saying, greatness will always be the game plan per se, right? But if you got a game plan for one thing, it's a little obviously a little easier than game planning for 5 explosive players or 4 explosive players or whatever the however many it is.
Coach up there brought up Kenny Gainwell. I think that's a guy who could have a huge game, could be a key in this ball game. He's started to make big plays and be in really big situations through the playoffs. And I think he's another guy who could be like a sneaky under the radar, tough matchup for them to where he can go out and catch the football or he can, it seems
I can see Boston.
The ball, he runs for, it seems like he's running for 5, 6, 7
I like smell of Boston Scott Day. Wayne Miller, great question. And let's get to it. A super chat. We appreciate it, Wayne. He said, who is your surprise player of the game today? You said Kenny. I think Vegas is taking me off of Kenny a little bit. It seems like there's way too much money in on Kenny Gainwell over in like rushing yards, which is weird to me. But I would go the other side.
100-1 to win MVP, Tom.
I'll go the other side. I'll go Boston then if I wanted to go in the backfield, right? I would say, you know what? I can see Boston being sneaky, right? So I can see him having some big catches, like almost like Corey did in 2017. A couple big plays here and there. Maybe like 40 yards rushing and a TD. I can see him doing that. It's hard to have a surprise player, right? Because when you look at this team and the starters, nobody's going to surprise you. Nobody's going to be like, oh, I can't believe that guy did that today. No, because we've seen them all do it to our point earlier all year long. So if I had DeVonta winning my MVP, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to be a surprise player. So I'll go with Boston. I think Boston has a good day.
The other reason why Boston Scott could be influential is he's probably going to be your kick and punt returner today, which the last time we saw him do that was when like Britton Covey really didn't know how to play football a handful of weeks
Covey's
ago.
out, right?
Yeah.
He might not know how to play football. He just runs in the walls.
Fair. That's
Covey.
Yeah. Boston Scott, I forget, it might have actually been against the Giants, one of the 3 times that we torched them. He was influential in the special teams play.
Yeah, good returns.
So in addition to him obviously doing what he does, especially in the red zone, which we talked about on Wednesday, somebody said it in the chat, how badly the Chiefs struggle with their defense in the red zone. Boston Scott, little run, for 11 yards, a little pass in the backfield. The guy's just so damn small, people can't see him. And
couldn't you see a screenplay? Couldn't you see a screen right to your point how small he is? Like a screen going 50? You know what I mean? A great design to Boston. Nobody's really expecting it. Sneaks out. He's a little guy. He's behind Mulata. And then Kelce's rolling out. And then boom, boom, boom. Guys are getting laid out. And then the guy goes for 45, 50. I can easily see that.
Now I want to throw this out there too, okay? Milton Williams. Okay, I don't like the interior line guys. It's always tough like picking them because you don't know how their snap counts are going to be because there's like 37 of them. You know what I'm saying? Interior line guys. Over his last 7 games, this is via Brendan Deague on Twitter. His last 7 games, he's had 2 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, and 14 tackles. So he's had a really hot stretch coming into December and obviously the playoffs. So if he has enough snaps to get on the field and really have consistent impact, he could be somebody sneaky as well.
Yeah, he could. And all those guys, right, to your point, when you're getting limited reps or less reps, you're fresher, like we talked about. And it gives those guys a little bit extra motor when they are on the football field. The biggest thing that Howie Roseman's done, not only in 2017, but came back and was able to replicate it again, but on steroids, right, this year, is having – we talk about 8-man, right? When we talked about our 8-man front, we talked about that in 2017. We had the same thing, but again, on steroids. Like we thought – like we were always looking for the next Chris Long, right? Since then, got guys way better than him at this point. I mean, everybody gets to the quarterback. Like you brought Milton Williams. Like you almost forget he's playing.
Yeah.
You almost forget these guys are playing. So and in the Sue move, and we talked about all that's what happened in the Joseph
I
move.
love the Sue move.
It really just made life easier on Fletcher. It made life easier on Hargrave. It made life easier on all those guys because they get a breather, man. You're playing an extra game on top of a long season already. But now you got an extra game a year, and then you got the playoffs. It's a long season. And one thing and I want you guys to get back to your player. But the one thing, I think Nick and this staff deserves credit for is, I guess, the way they handled, preseason and guys that were healthy for the majority of the year, even though we don't love that style of not having a physical camp, right? And we questioned it. Seems okay. Right, guys? Seems like that worked. We didn't have major injuries like we were having back in the day. Remember when we were like, we got to fire this training guy. We got to fire the whole medical staff. Every week we got 42 injuries. We don't even have that many guys playing.
Yeah, you know what our defensive line is like? If you ever play football, if you play high school, college, or whatever, at the end of practice, you got to run sprints. Our defensive line is like, all right, we got 10 sprints, but this group, you run the first 2. Everybody else, y'all stay fresh. When they get back, now y'all sprint while they sprinting, y'all can rest. Everybody's got rest, so those legs are fresh. That's why our defensive line is bringing pressure. And the surprise player, in my opinion, is going to be Josh Sweat, because they're going to be looking for Haason Reddick to come off our left side. And like I said, force Mahomes to his left, and Josh Sweat's going to be right there.
That was somebody I had in mind defensively who could have a really huge impact on this football game.
There's more guys on this side that Brinks' point earlier. There's more guys on this side that you can see like, having a monster game than on the other side.
Absolutely.
Marcus, I believe
read off 20 guys.
McKinnon, unless you guys are scared of McKinnon. So.
Marcus, I believe you brought up earlier, the fact that their right tackle, whether it was Orlando Brown or who it is, that is their weakest part of their offensive line. It's Andrew Wiley. The last 9 games, he's allowed 9 sacks all season, and the last 8 game, Reddick has had 11.5 sacks. So if you really want to look at a matchup, I think I read on Wednesday, Reddick goes up against the right tackle, the opposing right tackle, like 93.8% of the time. Yeah, so it's going to be Reddick versus Wiley for a majority of the day. Yeah, unless he's dropping back into coverage, then
No, I'll say that though. Andy's better than Kyle, and Andy's obviously better than Dable. So he's going. That's why I think like a Josh Sweat's a great name, because I think they're going to do everything in their power to make sure Haason Reddick doesn't beat them today. They will absolutely make sure that, and he still might beat them, right? You can double, you can do whatever you want to some guys, and they're still going to beat your ass. That being said, I think Andy is going to try to neutralize him, right? And that can, pick your
poison. But if he does that means you got to sacrifice a piece. Mm-hmm. That means that means if he's going to do that, that means that somebody's getting help. If somebody's getting help, that means somebody's free.
Yeah. And I think the pick your poison, the double team thing goes for the defensive line too, right? Yep. So you're going to double team Haason Reddick. Okay. Josh Sweat's going to be 1-on-1. Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham are going to be all 1-on-1. 3 guys right there or 2 guys right there that had 10 plus sacks this year, and Cox had 7 this year. But it's another thing for the Chiefs to do. Pick your poison. You're going to double team the whole time on Haason Reddick, or is everybody going to be straight up 1-on-1? So and that's the thing. Same thing on the offensive side and same thing on the defensive side.
Maybe early on, Ralphie, right? Like what you're talking about. Maybe early on they allow the 1-on-1 to happen. They see, okay, you're going to be, because they're not going to leave Kelce blocking them like Shanahan did. But so they're going to allow a real right tackle to match up with them, and they're going to probably wait and see on it, and they'll make the adjustment. Andy is good at adjustments, as much as sometimes we don't want to think he is. They'll make that adjustment, after the first quarter or at half, etc. So that's the biggest thing today, is they will make their adjustments, but we're so freaking good. So you can go and try to game plan to try to take Haason out, and there's 3 other guys up front that are now getting 1-on-1. Good luck.
And what's the best way to neutralize that? Screen plays.
And that's what they love to do, right?
Yep. So if Haason's coming loose, look for a bunch of screens on that left side to Pacheco.
And Mr. McKinnon.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how to find that, but what are they got a stat for everything, right? So I want to know defensively how good we are in the screen game, right? Like I don't know if that's just a stat you find easy, right? But I'm curious to know how many yards per screen the team's average is probably what we're looking for versus us.
I have a version of that stat, Tom.
I'll take whatever you got, right? Okay. Fit the agenda.
Okay, I like it. So the Eagles' defense, and this is why I think, not that people were up at night thinking about Jerick McKinnon being like, oh my God, he's gonna house us.
Some are.
But some are fair. The Eagles defense is ranked 24th in the NFL when opposing running backs in the passing game, which is what Jerick McKinnon really thrives on. So I get that where people are like, oh, he's not going to run, for 150 yards right up the middle. But when, if/when we're really pressuring Mahomes and he has, a second to get it out, Mr. McKinnon's probably going to be there alongside him.
Play action, all that stuff's that could be tough. Then that's where
the play action I'm not worried about as much, Chrome, as the straight up
going to be key here.
As the straight up screen game, right? Like the play action doesn't concern me unless they can run the football. So if they want to come out early, the Chiefs, and say, hey, we're going to try to establish it, then color me surprised, because I wouldn't expect them to do that. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to put the football like Andy does in his best players' hands. And what's the best scheme to attack the Chiefs with today?
And I take the ball.
Well, I think the best scheme, and I want your guys' opinion too, obviously. My best scheme, and I hate saying it because I'm a man.
That's why I take the ball.
I'm a man guy, but I would like to run. I might run a little more zone today. I might run a little bit more zone today. Make him be patient, maybe. I don't know. I'm more of a man guy, but I would almost want to make him have to be patient. Make him have to go through every goddamn read, right? Because so much is ad lib when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, right? Make him. Don't make it easy where it's man coverage and he knows exactly where he's going with the football before he even gets it, right? We got the pressure to get home. We got the pressure to contain him, right? So any way we can slow down him getting the ball out of his hands quick if he wants to, etc., to neutralize our rush. I don't know. I don't know what the best way. I don't know if there is a best way to attack Patrick Mahomes. Honestly, I don't know.
Go up 7-0. Go up 7-0 is the best way to attack him. Go up 7-0. Take the ball. Go up 7-0. And he's gonna. In the second they get down, and he's gonna dismiss the run game. He's not gonna run the ball if he's losing the football game.
All right, back to the question though. We got to score first, but back to the question is, what do you want to see from Gannon? Do you want to see a zone? Do you want to see press? I would like to see a zone with press, right? Where I'm hitting a guy right off the line of scrimmage, but we're still playing zone behind that, and then I allow that second. I need that extra second, because if I get that extra second, there's a good chance one of my guys is going to get home, right, boys? That's how I look at it. So I don't want to play man because I think he'll pick man apart. That's just what I might be wrong about that. But to me, a little press zone, I think would work until he figures that out.
You can play zone, but you want to press Kelce, because Kelce's got to be the guy where he has to hesitate with. So if he's covered, or if they're in man coverage, that means he's got to beat him. So again, bringing Bradbury or Chauncey Gardner down there that can challenge him like that. So the minute he's got to, if you play a man-to-man, especially when you coming up and pressing, that means you messing up the timing. So all you got to do is make him hesitate for a half a second, and sometimes that half a second is just enough time for Haason Reddick to get home.
Yeah, I agree with that and with what you said earlier too, Tom, because I worry if you do a complete zone, Patrick Mahomes can throw a football through a straw.
Right through my butt crack.
Especially going across the middle of the field, Kelce's going to find those seams, and they're going to be able to pick apart through the middle of the field. So I do think you have to bump, you have to play press on Jason Kelce. Travis Kelce. Yeah.
No, you're not wrong. You guys aren't wrong.
You don't have to double anyone besides Kelce.
Right.
Hopefully not.
Right.
I mean, look,
besides Kelce, who you scared of?
Not scared
on their offense. Right? I mean, I really do think you could do man in terms of even with, because the rest of the wide receivers don't scare me.
Nobody scares me, but they're very deep. Right, it's weird. Yeah. It's not like the Tyreek Hill is sitting there.
It's a bunch of
but we talked about this
2s and 3s.
We talked about this before the season. A bunch of 2s and 3s, right? And Juju a 2. The list goes on. Kurdavius doesn't even know what he is yet. He's just a playmaker. Hardman's always been like a 3, right? Valdez Scantling is more of like a 2, 2.5. So they don't have that
high tier 3.
That main guy. But sometimes when you're that deep and you're that lengthy, it almost makes it like you have a legit one, because you do have a great tight end, right? So you go with a great tight end and you mix all them guys in that can do a little something different. I think that's why they've been so. Another reason, obviously, they have Mahomes, but another reason why it didn't feel like the loss of Tyreek Hill killed them offensively, because all they did was add a bunch of really good 2s and 3s around Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, I mean, Travis Kelce plays like a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
Top tier wide receiver 1. So, you know, and in terms of the other guys, like you said, with 2s and a bunch of really high-end 2s and high-end 3s, they're able to almost, you know, offset that as far as the wide receiver position and other parts of the receiving game.
You got a game plan, Travis Kelce. You got a Travis Kelce. You got a game plan, Jalen Hurts. You got a game plan, AJ Brown or DeVonta Smith. So again, it goes back to the pick your poison. Other than Travis Kelce and on the flip side, Chris Jones, who are you looking at that you have to game plan? Where you go into the film session that week and it's like, we got to stop that guy. You're looking at Kelce and Mahomes. That's it. That's it. If you shut down Kelce, you got a much better opportunity to make him make some mistakes, make Mahomes make some mistakes. Right?
Well, isn't this game simple? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marcus.
No. To your point, it is that simple. Because if you shut down Kelce, who's going to step up? And are they going to step up against our secondary? Take Kelce out of the picture, and you line up all of their wide receivers against our secondary. Who wins those matchups?
You know, it's a whole energy thing too. If you could take away their biggest weapon, that at that point the defense is going to gain more confidence. You're probably going to have send Kansas City scrambling a little bit to try to figure out what's going to be the next best option, because our number one option is not working right now, and that's a game changer. That flips everything on its head. So absolutely, you know, I believe in the momentum of things, and if you can find a way to really take away Travis Kelce in a big way, that you might get that. I know Tom hates when I say the comfortable win at that point, or get that comfortable.
Yeah, I just don't think you take him away. I think he's impossible to take away. I think I think what I was going to say is like the easiest formula for a win today is, it goes on for ages watching football at any level, is if I hit the guy behind under center, if I get to him and I pressure him and I'm in his face all day, game over. Game over. That's for every great quarterback that's ever played, right? You even play with your boys out back. If that rusher's getting home on you, makes it a little harder to throw the football. But if you got time and you can sit there and you can process what you see, night, he'll pick you apart all day. So, like we talked about, obviously both units are important, but this defensive front is arguably the most important thing going into this football game. They got to do what they do. They got to go eat. They got to stop the run. They got to smell screen, right? They got to get pressure on the best player playing today. You know what I mean? Like, that's the best player on the field. No disrespect to anybody on our football team, but the best player on the football field is Patrick Mahomes. That's just being fair.
Without a doubt.
That's being a realist. So our defense is then, our front is right there at that caliber, right? So can we get enough? Just enough hits on him early, you know, because then he's got a little flinch. He doesn't flinch, but still pressure.
What's the threshold for Kelce? Like,
oh shit.
When you look at the end of the game and he has 8 for 100, maybe a touchdown,
gotta expect that, right?
Is that too much? Is that
no? It depends what everybody else does, Brinks. Depends what the other circle around.
Well, right now, his over-under, Kelce's receiving yards, is 79.5.
So what do the Eagles' defense, what do his stats have to look like at the end of the game for the Eagles to be like, okay,
he can have 8 for 100. You can have 8 for 100 in TD. You can't have more than that. You can't walk away with 2 or 3 TDs, right? You listen, you're never going to shut down greatness. You got to contain greatness. Exactly. Can I contain you? Are 8 of those catches all third downs for first downs? Then we got a problem. So it's all situationally, right? He could have 8 catches. They're all 3rd and 10s, and he's got 8 catches for 8 yards. Well, guess what? Those catches don't mean shit then. So it's all context, I guess, on when he gets them, how big the catches they are. But they know what we're going to try to do. Right. You would assume they know we're going to try to take him away. But how do you take away a guy that every team comes into trying to take him away And then you're watching him versus division rivals score 3 TDs. Like, they don't know who he is. Like, you guys know who that man is? So that's
Like,
just telling me he's
you
unstoppable.
can't stop him. You can. What was that game where he had like 50 yards but 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, was it Oakland or it was a divisional
Something like
game,
that.
right?
And the scary thing about Kelce is everybody and their mama know who's gonna get the ball.
Yeah.
And they still can't stop him. That's the scary part about Kelce. But you can, and I say again, the same way we did against Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. You ain't gonna tell me that Justin Jefferson is not a beast, but he came in and we held him to 46 yards. And Tom, to your point, if he's not, he can get a bunch of catches, but is he getting all of those catches for first downs? Is he getting all of those catches in the red zone? All of that stuff is collect. So it depends on how it plays out. You're not gonna stop him, but we can contain him.
And how much of his action comes from Mahomes' extensions, right? When you really watch the Chiefs, so much of it. I mean, so many, that's not a shot at either one, but so much comes ad-lib. So much comes with those two after the fact because they're like this, right? Their chemistry is that good where they can make so many plays after the fact. So that's the big thing. Khalid, let's go, baby. $10 super chat. Let's go.
Appreciate
Go
you.
Birds wrong.
Just to get back to the surprise players, Tommy, your Boston Scott, his prop bet for rushing yards is 8.5.
That's it?
That's it.
I feel like I could go
On
over
DK.
hard on
I'm gonna
that.
double check. I'm gonna double check it. Make sure.
That's
like,
what she said. You know,
that's one rush. And I'm a big Gainwell guy. He's 100 to 1 to win the MVP.
100 to 1. You got to take him to win MVP.
Yeah,
That's a
I
good
mean,
bet,
I think
though.
that's.
Listen, it's not out of the realm because, in my opinion, it was not out of the realm that Corey Clement should have been the MVP when we won last time. So, depending on how we distribute the ball, that's a possibility.
Well, we talked about this on Wednesday, too. I forget the name of the running back when Mahomes beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs running back went off. He had like 115 yards and a handful of touchdowns. And he didn't win MVP. But to Marcus's point, there is an argument that Corey Clement could have won it. Obviously, the Chiefs running back could have won it to where, like we talked about it, I'm sure we'll get to it, but like one of the running backs for the Eagles, I won't spoil it unless everybody saw Wednesday, like I have him getting 3 touchdowns. I think that's the kind of performance where it's gonna take for you to get an MVP over a Super Bowl winning quarterback. But to Marcus's point, the way we spread around the football and how influential our running backs have been and continue to be, it wouldn't be a surprise whatsoever if one of them gets it.
Yeah, I think if the Eagles win.
Williams.
Yeah, I think if the Eagles win, it's probably easy. It's probably easy Jalen, because it would probably have to be, right? Because the one thing about the Chiefs defense, and we talked about this on Wednesday, they raise their level. Spags raises the level as it goes through. Every year, I feel like he does it. Like, they might not have on paper like a defense where you're like, whoa, right? But like when playoffs come,
but they're always there.
Yeah,
they're always there. It's weird.
Big games come, they find a way. Like, they scheme well, right? He puts his players in position to be successful. Spags has a lot of. This is just, we have a lot to talk about, right? So we got to give some credit, to the other side sometimes too, especially in a Super Bowl. Like he gets stuff more with less. He always has. More with less is Steve Spags and me, and he's He's coached in a lot of Super Bowls, a lot of big games. He's been a part of it. So that's where I think that their defense, where Jalen has to be really good, because I think they're gonna do things that one test the shoulder, right? Like, I think they're gonna like Marcus said earlier, they're gonna make him hold on to that RPO, right? They're gonna make you say, hey, you want to take it around the outside? Go ahead. Let's see how much you want to run to that. And I think they're going to test that.
Well,
here's something. What is any team this season? When has any team not done that? So to me, that's not anything new, because the earlier in the season and even going into the playoffs, the main thought was, if you stop Jalen Hurts from running the ball, you got a better opportunity, and that's not the case.
I'm interested to see if Spags kind of not strays away from what they've been doing all season, and I'm sure everybody saw the stat at some point in the last 2 weeks or so. But the Chiefs defense, especially when you talk about coverage, they run the most press defense in the NFL. A.J. Brown against press coverage, he's second in the NFL in yards, 742. And he's first in the NFL yards per route. He averages 3.34 yards per route against that coverage. So it'd be interesting whether they start out a little bit differently or Spags in that defense is like, okay, we know what you do well, but we know what we do well. Beat us and make us adjust to it. It'll be very interesting if they stray away from that early.
Yeah, I saw one too where Jalen's like the best against two high safeties in the league.
Yep, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're going to throw the football. I just want to make it clear to everybody. Everybody out there that thinks, this owner, they want to win a football game too, obviously. But when you look at the Chiefs and you look at the way you can expose them and you look at your weapons, when they talk about 2 rookie corners, when you talk about some of the things on the back end for the Chiefs, like the Eagles are going to try to throw the football today. They're going to try to throw it early. And they're going to put it in his hands. I'm not saying they won't run the ball too, but if the Eagles win and score what we think they're going to score from to get to the numbers we expect them to get to, I think Jalen throws it, spins it around the yard well. I do. I have to believe that if I want to win this football game. Mm-hmm. I can't I'm not running for, like one guy in the chat said, well, I just think a C+, right? And we rush for 190. That's not a C+ offensive effort, honey. That's an A+. If you rush for 190 goddamn yards in a Super Bowl, that ain't C+. That's A+. So it doesn't, because they didn't throw for 300, doesn't mean it wasn't an A+ performance from the offense. But I think today, they baited this a little bit. I do think the shoulder's a little bit of a concern, obviously, right, boys? But what I do think is they baited this a little bit. And I think they're going to come out, and I think they're going to let him show it off early. And if it doesn't work early, then they will go back to a ground and pound, and they'll get that way. But if they can throw it early, they're throwing it all day today. They're going to let it spin. And Jeffrey's going to be so excited.
You got to remember 2 things. A.J. Brown is pissed.
Yep.
And in the 49ers game early, when Jalen Hurts ran the ball, he took some shots. And to me, that answered any questions you had about the show.
True. Andrew, another super chat. Look at you guys. You generous son of a bitches. Yeah. Right, Super Bowl start that. Unbelievable. Maybe I'll buy a new laptop. You can put it through. I think a GoFundMe. GoFundMe so Tom computer can just run normal. And that comment still has not came up when I've clicked on it 7 times. So you guys, welcome to my life. Hopefully Gannon's quicker. Working a little bit better.
By the way, by Andrew.
Yeah.
I like that list in that order.
Hurts, Reddick, AJ Brown. I do too.
I really like it. And if you are a bet, the odds on Reddick for MVP, it's worth a shot.
I got 30-1 on Reddick, and Marcus, your boy Sweat was 200-1, so I fired a penny on that too.
Real quick, Devlin, are you okay? Are you okay? What are you talking about? What grade is 300 yards? What do you mean? It's an A+. Well, no, 300 yards. Which way? Which way, Dev? I think you want to have high 3s in total offense, 380.
Yeah, it's all the intangibles that come in. How much is the running game? How much is the passing game? Quality as well as far as the looks.
Yeah, you could have 6 yards. You could have 6 yards of offense today, and if you win, it's an A+ in my book. Who cares? That's it for losers. I
can win 2-0 today. You can't even meet the point on Broad Street.
We dominated. We dominated today.
Could you imagine the Hassan Reddick safety walk-off?
Just remember, if they win 2-0, who played the A+ game?
Oh, Christ. Defense.
Here we go. They'll still give it to Jalen because he didn't turn it over.
Yeah, right. Because of his MVP to Jalen.
Because of his leadership, Tom. Because of his leadership on the sideline.
Kept guys cool.
Yeah.
So, Brodo, you're on.
This is a big day, though. I want to make this clear. Jeffrey Lurie has to say what Jeffrey Lurie has to say in that situation. Jeffrey Lurie can't make this game bigger for his quarterback than it already is, right? So Jeffrey's comments are spot on. I expect my owner to say that. Now, as a fan, it's
a big game.
It's a deal, baby. Whoa. There ain't no moving goalposts today. You got to come out and play the football you played all year that puts you in an MVP conversation. Today's your day, baby. Today's your day because guess who's on the other side? You ain't going one-on-one versus him, but essentially you are, and that's Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And today's the day to shut the world up.
Toe with him, man.
Yep, you shut the world up today. You shut it all up. You beat him today, and you play just as good, right? People are going to start. Nobody can ever say a bad thing about you, right? I want today for Jalen too. Today for me is a 1-2 for Jalen to put that last nail in the hater coffin, right? Not locally, nationally.
Yep.
And it's a statement game for us. If we're going to sign a guy to a ton of money, rightfully so, I'm signing you to win games like this, baby. I'm signing you. If I'm giving you $50 million a year and I'm going to hurt my roster, I'm not going to have as much talent around, right? Which is what you have to do. Well, you got to prove to me today that you can go win a game today, right? Not like you need a game-winning drive. That's not what I'm talking about, right, guys? Just you got to play what we talked about on Wednesday, A football. You got to be clean. You got to be the same guy we watched all year. You can't have 2 turnovers, right? You can't. Because I think we would leave this football game today and we would have some questions going into next year. Well, not on his growth, not on what we think of him, but like if he doesn't play well, you bring in a Brinks truck for $50 million?
Well, I think no matter what,
absolutely.
I'm not saying you don't have to. I'm saying as a fan, are you not you get a little sweaty? You little goddamn sweaty. You get a little sweaty if he throws 11 for 25 today.
Dude, I'm gonna be drinking and shit. Like if they lose this game, I'm gonna be heated for like 3 days. Then I'll calm down and come back to her.
Season of moisture. That's what it'll be. An off season of moisture.
I don't think there's a question at all. And again, there's a lot at stake for a lot of different players, but the player with the most to gain and also the most to lose is our quarterback. Yeah. Even more than Mahomes, even more than Andy Reid and Nick Sirianni and everything that goes into it. It's Jalen Hurts.
Right, I'm glad we agree. Because if he lays an egg, not that you don't give him the money. Me and Ryan aren't saying that. We're still giving him the money, but as fans, we're like, oh shit.
Well, it's not even.
Then we have to listen to it. Like, see, I told you he wasn't that good.
If Mahomes loses, anybody with a right mind, again, there's going to be idiots because idiots are all over the place. But it doesn't matter what he does in this game. I don't care if he throws for 7 picks, which he's not going to do. I would love it if he does, but I don't expect that to happen. Nobody's coming out of this game and be like, oh, Mahomes sucks. Oh, he's a fraud. It's like, no.
Well, no, but what it does is it does change the conversation with him because what has he done in big games? Because right now he's 2 TDs and 4 interceptions in the Super Bowl overall.
So 1-1.
So if he lays an egg in this game, or he has another bad one where he has 2 or 3 turnovers and they lose the game,
don't take away from how good he is.
Conversation. He starts falling into the Peyton Manning great regular season quarterback.
He's got a ring.
He's his first 5 years, and it's too early for that. It's got a ring. 5 years.
A fact.
Yeah, he's got a ring in his first 5 years. Are you okay?
That's
great. You okay?
Peyton Manning also has.
The only people questioning Patrick Mahomes are morons. The only people after today
if you don't play well. There's a conversation to have about great regular season and playoff quarterbacks and guys who show up in the championship in big games.
Okay. Well, you got to win some NFC titles.
Change the narrative.
Well,
is he going to be the guy?
Hear this narrative, honey. You got to win AFC title games, which is a big game in case you missed it. That ain't a small game.
Understood. You still got to win the big one in the end. You still got to lock it down in the end.
Look at you. You buy all your NFC title gear. I know your truth, Mr. Fit. All right, you Mr. Fit. So you're buying all the gear, and then you're going to come back and
wearing an NFC title hat right now. What are you doing?
Say nothing. He's been
on my side. This is not my fucking war. This is not my war. Do not bring me
into it. Ralphie, because you've been on my side.
Come on in, Ralph. Let's go.
Yeah, I think that at the end of the day, 1 and 2 in Super Bowls, all that. But I don't think any book's been written about Mahomes or it's going to be. Because again,
nobody's saying it's been written. But
no, I'm not saying you are.
You're trying to write it.
Already conversation of if he wins 1 or 2 more, if he wins his next 2, is he already in the conversation of the GOAT with Brady because of how talented he is?
That's people that don't want to live in the friggin' moment.
He ain't playing till he's 45. He ain't playing till he's 45. I keep my
There'll never be another Brady. There'll never be another Brady.
He ain't playing till 45, so we can just...
2 things. The people that are already... And again, this is sports. This is what we do.
By the way.
I understand. The people that are already doing is he on path with Brady? Just live in the friggin' moment. I know it's sports. I know we compare everything. I know this is not directed at you.
Yeah.
There isn't. The pen hasn't hit the freaking paper with Jalen Hurts in big games yet because according to everybody in the damn country, the first 2 playoff wins don't count.
They don't count.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be written as if this is his second damn playoff game.
Just a fucking
the
video
Buccaneers
game.
where he put up 2 points.
No, you're right. It was just like a video game. He wasn't there. It was just simulated. You know what I mean? Just simulated. We simulated those games when Fred Warner sitting there. Look, he's so stuck. I felt like he was looking for his wife on the one. Right? I'm gonna take a shot at her too. I feel like you stuck. You didn't know which way to go, Fred. You hear your wife crying up in the stands. You didn't know who to read to. All right, Mr. Best Linebacker in football, shut your mouth. I'm so sick of everybody talking. And when we get to the point where kickers start talking, we got a problem. All right, Robbie Gould. Shut up, Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould. I know.
That whole team is so sour and salty. It's one thing to say, hey, we really believe we're better than them, but they got the best of us, right? And just be a man about it. You can believe you're better. That's
for
common.
2 weeks.
They're still talking. Like Debo, stop talking ever. Because my respect for Debo Samuel is going out the window, right? I already told you Kyle Shanahan was a fraud for years. All right, fraud. The reason they're good is John Lynch, besides Trey Lance, has done a tremendous job. John Lynch has done a tremendous job. Kyle Shanahan will only get you so far because he's a fraud. Right? He proved that. Who gets a head coaching job after the biggest Super Bowl collapse in NFL history? So instead of you pointing fingers at like, oh, well, woulda, coulda, shoulda, how about you point fingers to your coach who wants to block one of the best defensive players in football with a goddamn tight end, and not even I don't think it was even
second string tight end.
Second string tight end. So if you want to look in the mirror, look at your coach, who's a perennial loser. He's a loser, and you're stuck with him. You're stuck with that loser. He handcuffs every quarterback that he's ever had. He never took the training wheels off a guy who can throw in Jimmy G. Jimmy G could throw. When he came from New England, Jimmy G could throw. All right, this guy, it's got to be everything what Kyle wants. Well, guess what? Guys like that are losers. I can't say
they don't even know that the players, literally, whether it's McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, and the damn place kicker. Yeah, I didn't even go kicker because I don't respect him enough to just call him a kicker. Place kicker. They all said the same thing. Oh, I wish we would have had the opportunity to have a third quarterback. Do you not know the damn rules? You could have an opportunity. You could. That's literally football. You could do that. Your GM and your coach said, nah, we're good. I don't know what. And then,
Jimmy G could have dressed for that game.
Yes, that would have mattered.
Which is why he was laughing on the sideline.
Yes. Yes, it's the epitome of, you guys suck. I'm leaving tomorrow. Peace. I'm out. I'm not going to be here.
Well, when is a player, really? I got to have this conversation because we dealt with this here in Philadelphia for a while. All right, where we were always in the conversation, but we couldn't get over the hump, right? We've been here. We've been down this road. So at one point, when you've been doing this game for 4 years in San Fran, or 3 years, however long it's been, where you guys have been always in the conversation, at what point do you all start looking in the mirror, right? Because it's on every one of you. You guys everybody wants to deflect blame. Like, blame. Like, what? Be a man.
To your point, right? To your point, that's where my issue comes in, okay? In terms of the football purity, would you have liked to have seen what this game could have been with full ammunition? Fine. But they're ignoring the facts. They're acting like their quarterback went out there and had freak accidents and they lost their quarterbacks. No, you lost your quarterback because your head coach decided to block with your second string tight end. Then you just didn't do your job up in the trenches up front, and we took your other quarterback out of the game. That's why we took them out, because we executed our game plan. And at the end of the day, that's not a freak accident. That's not, we went in shorthanded and we really couldn't show we had. No, you just didn't do your job. You just didn't block. You put the wrong guy on one of the top pass rushers in the football game in the entire league, and then you paid the price for it. So at the end of the day, you lost to the better team, the more physical team, the tougher team,
the better coach team. The better coach team, the best coach on that roster, the best coach on the Niners roster. He just went to Houston. That's the best coach on the Niners roster. D'Amico just went to Houston, and he's going to change the culture there. Right? You can save this clip. I don't even care about Houston, but I do like me.
Oh, you're right. That's a phenomenal hire.
Great hire. Now can the owner get out of the way?
Even with Brandon Ayuk,
he's talking too.
I put a post about his comments. As a player, I've been in that situation, so I didn't mind it. And the only reason I say it's passable is because if you heard the whole conversation, literally in the middle of the conversation, he says, "I really don't have no business talking about other teams," and I'm sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
At least he had the honesty to say that, and I was like, as a player, been in that situation. If our best guy gets knocked out, that takes our chances of winning. Drops them down dramatically. I understand that. So I get where he's coming from. Everybody else is full of crap. Everybody else is just all salt. And they
wouldn't you want the team that beat you? Wouldn't you want the team that dominated you
to win?
To go win.
I want to get beat by the best. Period.
Yeah, Brandon's comments were just in terms of, he was stating that just his beliefs. He thought there were some things that they could expose. They didn't get a chance to. He thinks the Chiefs were really going. He thinks the Chiefs may really expose it. Fine, that's your opinion. That doesn't mean
I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it, but that's your opinion. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I would, if it was me, even if you don't like the team, like even if it's like a rival now where you don't like us, all right, fine. But say, hey, that's a really good football team over there. I just wish that we were able to play this game with a quarterback. That's all. And nobody's going to say nothing. We agree with you as fans, right? When after Purdy went out, I thought it was a lock of the century anyway. But when Johnson came in, I'm like, it's really over. We talked about that week. Like, dude, my wife's like, you're not jumping around. I said, jump around for what? Game's over. Game was over as soon as the UCL blew out. All right. And it was actually over before. Actually, when they got off the bus, it was over. But that being said, when Josh Johnson's got to play, it's night time. So, like, would I have rather seen Purdy and us go beat them with him just to prove a point? Like, hey, this is your best. You won 8 games in a row with him. This is what you all told me was coming in to beat us. But guess what? We took him out of the game, not on purpose, not trying to hurt him. We made those plays. And nobody wants to fucking talk about that. He wasn't running like Kyler Murray and try juking somebody and blows his ACL out. Then that's a freak thing. Not saying the UCL isn't freak, but we created that hit. All right, Josh Johnson, we did it.
When the game truly ended, aside from all this Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson, John Johnson, all this BS, Christian McCaffrey hiking the football, the game ended and they lost it. Not on the whole drive, or I should say back-to-back drives where they basically gave us the entire drive because they couldn't, realize, oh, wait, this is a penalty, this is a penalty, this is a penalty. So you can blame yourselves on that. The game ended when they let Nick Bosa get beat and manhandled by a guy on one friggin' leg. Like, if we're being real, that's when it was like, goodbye. It doesn't matter who's playing.
He's like John Kruk. It was like John Kruk blocking him. What Lane's going through right now. Like one ball in the groin. You know what I mean? Like,
literally, because we knew a week before that game even started, if you stop Bosa, that's a one-trick pony defensive line. No disrespect. It just is. Eye test-wise, numbers-wise, everything in between. Nick Bosa might as well have not even shown up, and he might have done more than actually what he did in that game. So I don't want to hear the woulda, coulda, shoulda. I've never, and I get it, NFC title game, all the storylines, I get it. You might feel robbed. But I honestly, the amount of people, whether it's 49ers fans or National fans, that said, if this happened to the Eagles, you guys would be doing the same thing. Maybe a handful, but the 49ers, you're not the first team to lose a quarterback in the playoffs. Mind you, we did it a handful of years ago, and it was on a dirty hit by Jadeveon Clowney. And we had Josh McCown literally playing on one leg because he had like something in his knee. I don't know if it was an ACL. I don't know.
He tore his hamstring.
Yeah, you know what we did the next year? You know what we did the next year in the draft? We went and drafted a guy named Jalen Hurts so that we had that insurance policy. It's not my fault that you all traded up for Trey Lance, who we all told you. I'll just keep telling you this. I don't care. If he proves me wrong, great. He's not going to be any good. All right? I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the pick. All right? Fine. Maybe he works out for them. Right? But at the end of the day, I'm not the one who hasn't been able to land my franchise guy since those two guys came together in Kyle and John. Right? They haven't landed that yet. All right? And that's the biggest reason that they can't get over their hump. So again, as a player, maybe go talk to your general manager. Maybe go talk to some scouts. Have a sit down with them, right? And get your feelings out. All right, that you don't have a franchise guy. Because one guy's going to come in, he's going to run around all day. I don't think he's got a lot to grow, right? Coming from a small school too, in my opinion. He's got a lot to grow. Doesn't mean he can't. But I think that's a reach pick. And probably the only reach pick that the Niners have made, in their little tenure of Lynch and Shanahan.
Here, I want real quick. I want to give a little love to the chat over here. Marcus Blackman, by the way, Cowboys fan, speaking truths all over in this YouTube chat, talking about giving credit to Howie Roseman. He's giving it to all the San Francisco crybabies, and I got to give this dude a lot of credit. So he's a Cowboys fan, but he's one of the ones I respect because he's speaking truth in here. So,
well, we speak truth about the Cowboys too, right? I mean, at least Marcus got it more figured out than his owner does. You know what I mean? Thank goodness for that for him. But
And I wanted to bring
when the Cowboys are good, I'll be the first one to tell you, and I know a lot of guys on here.
For sure,
We'll all be the first to say, yo, they're a problem. You know what I mean? We're not gonna sugarcoat it. We hate them.
Isn't it ironic that the Cowboys players, both privately and publicly, have been way more respectful to the Eagles, literally tweeting at them, showing love, than the team that got manhandled by us?
Right, and not enough guys. Like every guy. CD. Did you hear the CD? You hear the CD interview?
Yes.
CD interview was
CD,
great. Micah can't stop talking about it. They all love us over there. Now I'm waiting for a McCarthy tweet. Where's Mike at? You know what I mean, Mike? Where's your tweet at, Mikey?
Like San Francisco, that you should be embarrassed that the Cowboys are being more respectful to us.
Well, know your fan base too, right? I'm just going to say that. I was going to leave that there.
As someone who was when Coach comes
fucking
back,
full house. Everybody act like it's full house out there. Grow up, Peter Pan. This is real life. This ain't full house.
When Coach comes back, I would love to get his opinion on that. On as someone who's played in that, Coach, let me ask you a question. We're sitting here and we're talking about how it's ironic that the Cowboy players seem to have been much more respectful and supportive of the Philadelphia Eagles and the job they've done this year. As a player who's played in the division, what are your feelings on that? We got you on mute. Still got you on mute.
No, he's checking something. He's got to switch. Okay. We'll come back to him.
When you come back in. But yeah, it is very ironic, Ryan, that's been something that's been happening.
Like guys, and it's not like fellow offensive players. It's like the guy that literally makes
all the superstars on their team.
It is Micah.
It's the guy who literally makes a living at trying to make Jalen Hurts' life a living hell on the field. He's like, oh, I love you.
Too. He doubled down on it because when they put that report and people started attacking him, he went right back into it and said, no. He said, I play in the league. I know what it's like, and I'm going to support my guys and support my division. I was just like, okay.
I'm like, oh, this is different. This is a change of pace.
Yeah, this is nice.
Still don't have
and then last thing about the dirty, stinking, rotten Niners, who I come to hate after all this. Like, you didn't lose 31-24. You didn't lose 31-30. Like, Josh Johnson didn't come in and gave you, the old college try. You came up a little short. You got smoked. Your best players weren't even active. Like, Bosa, nothing. Warner, nothing. Whoever's in their secondary, nothing. Trent Williams got kicked out of the game because he's a loser. Like, McCaffrey did okay. He scored their one touchdown. Kittle, what did he do? Debo, I didn't see him. Nope. Ayuk, I didn't see it. Like, who showed up on the Niners? No one. You got smoked. Go out and lose 31-27 and then be like, man, if we had our quarterback.
The only other one I know that really spoke on it and wasn't really whining was Kittle spoke on ESPN. And he spoke on it and basically, I had no issue with what he said where, he basically said, yeah, well, we liked the opportunity. He said, I thought we had a really good game plan and would I've liked the opportunity to be able to see that get executed. Yeah, but, it's the NFL. He didn't really whine about it, but he said, yeah, do you feel like you're deflated when you're starting quarterback and your fourth quarterback are basically out by halftime or beginning of the second half? Sure, it's tough to sit there and basically watch a hopeless situation unfold, but.
And it's not like, again, Brock Purdy came out in the game and was lighting us up. That hit happened on the first damn drive. That is what would have happened. I understand. It's like, oh, Ryan, you can't say that. I can. Because if you start out like that and you have no damn answer and you start the freaking game playing a second string blocking tight end or arguably the best defensive player in the league, I'm sorry. You're playing with fire and you've been burnt.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, Coach. Marcus. And real quick, Chrome, before you ask Marcus that question again, it's the most impactful thing. Say Josh Johnson doesn't get concussed, which, again, didn't happen on a dirty hit. It's because, once again, you try and play with fire with Haason Reddick. I'm sorry, you're going to get burnt again twice in one game. The most impactful thing Josh Johnson did was mishandle a snap, which ended up being a turnover in our favor. So, the DeVonta Smith.
He literally dropped the ball.
Yes, he was scared to death.
He was so scared.
So to all the people that were saying, "Oh, well, the DeVonta Smith wasn't a catch, so that touchdown should be eliminated." Okay, 24-7. Oh, well, that penalty drive, we gave that to you. If we would have woken up again, you probably should wake up in an NFC title game. Oh, that was a fluke. Okay, 17-7. Were you scoring? No. So get out. Miss me with that, please. Please.
They didn't
enjoy
play
the
that
Super
great.
Bowl. No,
the Niners didn't play that great against Dallas.
No,
really.
No, Dak Prescott handed him the freaking
He just
game.
stinks. Because
What do you
Michael
think?
Gallup stinks and let that guy run his route for him, and that was a pick. And then he threw another pick, and then they put Ezekiel Elliott at center, and that was that. See you later, Dallas.
Yeah, I know that play by Dallas.
Coach,
Yo,
we were talking about all the sudden positive energy being thrown by the Dallas Cowboys superstar players towards the Philadelphia Eagles. Is that something you could see if you played in this division? You know what that rivalry is like and to be in the thick of it. Is that something you could see yourself as a competitor being able to do the same to publicly and openly to show that support and double down on it like Micah did, where he also went after people who criticized him for it?
I could
think it's just a change from what sports, because they talk about how like the old days in baseball, right, where the All-Star game was competitive. The National League always wanted to beat the American League, and they weren't shaking hands. And now it's so much different.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's a personality thing. You got people. It's hard for me to, because I was never that dude, because we look at it different, because we look at any player that played in the league, we're a brotherhood. So, when I had Myron Guyton that played for the Giants when they won the Super Bowl. Myron Guyton is one of the, 2 or 3 players that actually started for Bill Parcells as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Eastern Kentucky together. He played for the Giants. I hate the Giants, but I love my brother. I got a high school guy I went to high school with who played for the Cowboys. 2 of my friends, Jason Dunn, played at Eastern Kentucky, played for here in Philly for 4 years, and also played for the Chiefs for 7. Alan DeGraffenreid was a receiver, played at my high school, played for the Chiefs. So I look at it from that standpoint. So I don't have any problem with that, as long as you keep it real. You can root for your team and not hate them. I think a lot of this stuff is a lot of social media BS, and they get caught up into that. I laugh now because I consider myself the old school get off my lawn guy, because I'm looking at how these guys operate, and even from the teams these days, they don't go to 2-a-days. They have new-a-days. They don't touch anybody. They don't tackle and all of that kind of stuff. And you kind of look at it with me and William Thomas is a really good friend of mine. And we were talking about that. And it's like, dude, they don't do nothing in camp. Nothing. And the size of the contracts, you got to keep everybody healthy, all of that kind of stuff. So it's just a different era, and the social media thing and how these guys pout and all of that kind of stuff is just different now than when I played, man. Because if you had an issue with somebody, you gonna see that dude in the locker room. If you had an issue with somebody in the press, you gonna see that dude in the locker room, because there was nowhere else where you could have access. So it's different. Now you got the keyboard warriors on social media and Twitter and all of that kind of stuff. So it's just a different, people can say stuff, but don't have to see you face to face.
Yeah.
If somebody on the Philly Inquirer, if Howard Eskin said something wrong about Seth, he was going to see Seth that week. You know what I'm saying? So the whole aspect of it is different. I don't mind it, because players are players. I want to see somebody do well. And I will say this. My thing on Micah Parsons earlier in the year, I said, when Micah Parsons becomes the leader of that team, Dallas is going to be dangerous. And as soon as I said that, he starts with the dumb shit.
Yeah.
On the Vaughn Miller podcast and all of that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, he still went up the road with the school up the road. So you never get rid of that.
Yeah. It is interesting though, like with him specifically, where he's taken every opportunity to take shots at at Jalen Hurts and his credibility.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly he just kind of flips it around. He's like, "Oh, Lane Johnson, of course I'm going to support my guy Lane." It's just very bizarre to me.
He was trying to backpedal.
I think so.
Did you see what Emmitt Smith said?
Yeah, Emmett's all over us.
I was like, I'm a fan. I was already a fan because I'm a running back, but I'm a fan, dude. And he straight up if like Michael Irvin goes over the top with it.
Yeah.
But even Michael Irvin gives respect when it's due. You just get sick of all of the other nonsense. Emmett was like, listen, shut your mouth. Y'all ain't got nothing to say. Close your mouth and don't. I was like, that's real. But rest assured, if Dallas was in the Super Bowl, it would have been a 180 with that.
Oh, sure. And Jimmy Johnson, too. Jimmy Johnson's another one who's like, I don't even know what Jerry's talking about.
Absolutely. The biggest mistake Jerry Jones ever made was firing Jimmy Johnson.
Made no sense.
That
was an ego thing.
That was a dynasty that you pulled the plug on. You're an idiot. And the last time your team won a championship, VHS tapes were all the rage. So you can't stop messing with me, man.
No, because what did Jerry say? Jerry said we're mortgaging the future.
We sold it all.
It's like Jerry. That's the Rams, Jerry. That's the Rams. We have more draft picks today than we did last year.
10th pick in the draft we have. What is it? 10th, right?
Yeah. Yep. And our pick later on in 32 or 31.
Yes, we have to pay the quarterback, but
that's 32. You were right.
Fair. He can't get out of his own way, man.
All the young guys we have who are still on rookie contracts, young skill players. It made no sense, and that's what Jimmy Johnson basically said. I have no idea what he's talking about.
That's a situation where the guys at the top, you can't see the forest for the trees. That to me, that's very similar to. I know this is a long shot analogy, but what was the who was the commissioner of baseball during the steroid era? Was that Bud Selig?
Bud Selig.
Yep.
Bud Selig. For Bud Selig to say he didn't know it was steroids, I'm like, dude, you're the commissioner of the league. You're supposed to be the top authority of what's going on in baseball. Ray Charles could have saw that they was on steroids. You chose to ignore it because you was making so much money. Keep it real. Jerry Jones is doing the same stuff. He's trying to do everything he can to not admit that he's done screwed up his franchise more than anybody else in that organization.
Well, if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm concerned by hearing those comments because to me, what that tells me is this guy has no self-awareness of what's going on in the league right now. When he's looking at Mike, he's the driving force of putting the team together.
Yep.
And he's looking at my competitors and saying, they won't be an issue next year. They're not built for that. Having such a lack of self-awareness when he's got to now rebuild this team to compete against this team next year, with the Giants also starting to come up, with Washington, if they can get a quarterback probably on the brink of emerging a little bit, I would be extremely concerned that my owner and general manager has no idea what position the competition is in.
This is also the man that said he wants some glory hole. So stop, yeah. And the only thing is he that organization is not going to get better, unfortunately, until he goes away and his son can take over completely. Because his son has got some common sense. But until Jerry Jones gets out of it, I don't want to see an owner having a press conference after every damn game.
Well, it's
like, stop.
It's the Steinbrenner mentality.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Cass.
Yeah. And even that, I mean, Steinbrenner's had a lot more success, but even Steinbrenner did some stuff with that, man. And it's like, I saw that interview with and I never knew this until recently. I saw that interview with Ken Griffey Jr. Dude, I played against Ken Griffey Jr. in high school because he's from Cincinnati too. And I was friends with his younger brother. So we knew each other, right? I didn't realize that happened to him at Yankee Stadium when Brenner said that he didn't want any kids in the locker room. And then Ken Griffey Sr. said, look down at third base. And he saw Craig Nettles out there playing with his son. That's why Junior said, I'll never play for the Yankees.
Right.
But you got that same mentality. You get to a point and it's almost like your shit don't stink. Yep. And nobody can tell you that. And now, in my opinion, Jerry Jones is at the situation where the emperor has no clothes. The stuff that you're doing is just ridiculous, dude. And every time you get on the mic, you sound silly and you sound senile.
Remember that picture of him in the civil rights movement when they were he was standing there, and he, instead of being I was there, my bad, it was different time.
He said I was curious.
He's I didn't know what was going on. I was passing through. Nothing to see here.
Whatever.
No, you were there protesting. that just goes to his self-awareness.
He
To that day and age,
he's out of touch. He's out of touch.
Like, we have the 10th pick in the draft. He says we mortgaged our future. Our mortgaged our future for what? I don't even know how we got the 10th pick. How do we even get how do we have the 10th pick in the draft?
Pick. It's the Saints
It's
pick.
the Saints
Yeah,
GM.
like,
Because
what
the Saints
It's like
GM
we have
doesn't know what
AJ
they're
Brown
doing.
too.
Yeah.
Like, we traded for AJ Brown. We still have extra picks. Like,
Yep. And
It's truly amazing. Truly amazing. We'll give score predictions here in a second. I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how my franchise quarterback handles the moment. Like I said numerous times this year, we all have, I'm sure, but I'm so impressed. So impressed by him. I'm so impressed by his attention to detail. I'm so impressed by him maximizing every little bit that he has to become a better player. And we've always talked about it in sports. I talk to my kids about it. I know Marcus, has probably had the same conversations. Like, if you got to want to, we can help you. But that 1-2 starts with you. I can't create that 1-2 as a coach. I want to, but do you want to? The first thing you talk to that guy about when he plays sports one day, what's your want to? Because we ain't going to play it. Then you're going to play stuff you want to be great at. You want to play stuff you want to get better at. And it's all part of it. And we have a guy here that actually wants that. He wants to get better. He's gotten better. Right? We talked about numerous times, Ralphie, Chrome on Wednesdays, numerous times about him going through his reads, right? Mm-hmm. Him dropping dimes, him putting balls in a bucket.
Well, that was the biggest thing this year for him, right? To look through your reads and not after your first read you take off. And he's done tremendously this year with that.
Ralphie, Tom, we literally talked about it at the end of last season after that Buccaneers game. But even we were saying it before, right? We didn't know if the guy could go left. We didn't know if he could go left and throw the football. That was a question. And now he's in the damn Super Bowl and he's a runner-up in the MVP race. I think we were talking about it, not that we laughed at it, that we thought it was impossible, but it was just amazing to think, like, oh my God, is this really possible? Somebody talked about, if he has a Tyrese Maxey-like jump, what would this team look like? And we're like, oh my God, like, this was right in the peak of Tyrese Maxey last season. We're like, Tyrese Maxey jump, if he does half of that, we're in the bowl. And he's done more than it. And that's no disrespect to Tyrese Maxey, but this guy went from a guy who we didn't know if he could go left and throw the football and get the ball to a wide open DeVonta Smith and et cetera, et cetera. He's in the damn Super Bowl playing against Mahomes, and he's this runner-up in the MVP race. Like, what the hell? Like, how is this real? It's truly tremendous.
He couldn't go left.
It just shows you when you want to get better at something and you actually put the work in, you can get better. Yeah. Or you just can. And he has. And now today's another one of those check marks, right? We talk about it all year, him checking boxes for us, right? Check numerous boxes. But the biggest thing was allowing, and we were critical on draft night, right? Because we were all confused. But when you sat back last year, I know, right, we did it tons of times on Monday, where I was adamant about my concerns, right? But I was also adamant about giving him his junior year. Right, giving him his third year in the league, because when guys make jumps, usually that's the year it's going to happen. If you got it in you to make a jump, college, pro, high school, right? High school athletes too. It usually comes in that junior year where you start to see, hey, this guy's got something, right? Sometimes guys are earlier, of course. It doesn't always work like that, but sometimes when it's a project-ish pick, it worked out exactly. It worked that nobody predicted that, not even the general manager. Because you talk about draft day and you talk about taking the hit, right? Remember, the movie when it's like, watch when he got hit, watch when he got hit, watch when I hit him.
Draft day.
Yeah, so the same thing goes for Jalen, right? Watch when he gets hit. He don't flinch, man. He don't flinch. Nothing phases him, right? So, and you can never judge what's in here. You never can, no matter how many interviews. Wonderlic test this, okay? Because there ain't nothing you got to know what's in here unless you're really good at your job and you can really see through the bullshit of some young players, right? Make sense? So this guy's everything, man. I mean, not only like forget on the field, we know the jumps, but look at the kind of man this guy is. This is the kind of man you would handpick to be the face of your franchise. like Vic and Donovan said, that's a man that I look at my guy, I look at my little guy, I say, man, I would love for you to have that work ethic, that that drive.
Tom, you could take that a step further. This is the type of kid that could be the face of the league.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he wins a damn Super Bowl in his third year.
He would
absolutely.
He's everything you want, like you guys mentioned. When you talk about leadership, hard work, determination, the way he talks to people, the way he addresses, the way he talks to his teammates on the field, the way he just the composure that this kid has, the fact that and somebody put it on there. I had a purpose before people had opinions.
Yep.
He's got his goal. He's hyper focused on what his goals are, and he works as hard as anybody else can do it. He's just one of those kids that he might be one of the most marketable, especially if he wins the title, marketable professional athletes of any sport to build your league around, or to make one of the faces of your league. Patrick Mahomes is one. Obviously, he's not going to be the only one in the NFL. Mm-hmm. But you got guys like Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts being the face of your league going forward. You're in pretty good shape.
Well, I think a couple things. If you win the Super Bowl, it might not be saying much, but he's the face of the NFC. You know what I'm saying? Just because you look at all the quarterbacks, you have a situation where it's like, oh, okay, Dak Prescott really the face of the NFC. The second thing, before we give our score predictions, and it goes to all of our conversations here, just freaking appreciate it, man. Like, appreciate it. Like, and this goes for all the, the Philly sports right now, because it's truly special when you look at it. I mean, you're going into tonight where you have the opportunity for the second time in 4.5 months to bring a Super Bowl, or not even just a Super Bowl, a championship to Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? We're not big soccer guys here, but, they were in a championship, right? You have, and that's great. Happy for everybody that appreciates that. The Sixers, while they piss us off, you have a relevant, very exciting team with two of the faces of the league in their own right. And the Flyers, they don't completely suck, right? Like, they're not like the biggest disaster in the world.
There's hope.
Yeah, and so they suck next week, and they were like, oh, they stink again, but they're not like the worst thing ever. Yeah, so just appreciate it, because Tom, you and I can really attest this, Ralphie too, and all of us can. But I mean, not too long ago, we were doing shows with main topics talking about, oh my God, the Phillies need to bring up Maikel Franco today. And that was the biggest storyline in Philadelphia, waiting for Maikel Franco to hit the, the major league roster.
Well, there were some dog days. And that's why today's important. That's why it's not just happy to be here, right? This can't be just, I'm happy to be here crap. I ain't just happy to be here. I'm happy when the confetti comes out green. Makes sense? That's when I'm happy to be here. This is not house money, because your opportunity.
No, this is very different than last time. This is
you don't have it doesn't come around all the time. No matter how good we think we are moving forward, no matter how good we think we are, this does not come around every year. So when you have an opportunity, look at Cincinnati Bengals. Had an opportunity last year, right?
Yep.
It was house money for them because nobody really expected them to be there. But again, they come back this year. They all expect as a fan base to be right back in it, right? They're not back in it, and they had a really good year, right? A really good year.
And they started off really slow.
They had a Super Bowl hangover. Super Bowl hangover. I predicted them not to make the playoffs because I thought it was really going to affect them. Credit to how good Joe Burrow is and how good of a coaching staff they have, because it affected them for 3 games. And then, boom, they clicked in. Joe Burrow shows his greatness. But again, great year for the Cincinnati Bengals. They're sitting at home today, right? So you don't know. It's not guaranteed to you. You go through, what happens if we had to play, I don't know, let's say we had to play Minnesota-Dallas. Maybe it's a different result. I don't know. Makes sense? Like we probably beat both of those teams. We're going to be favored in both of those games, but they're harder games. So you don't know what next year brings. You don't know if you're the number 1 seed or if you're number 2 seed. Now you got to play 3 games. So you don't know. You're an injury away from derailing a season. Right now we're here. We're healthy, and we're here.
Prime example is the 49ers. Look at the situation they're in. Mm-hmm. They lost the genius of that team, which was the defense. That defense was as advertised. And now DeMeco Ryans is gone. So whoever's coming in to take his place, is he going to have that same relationship? Is he going to run that same scheme? Is he going to get the same production out of those guys that he was getting? And not to mention, who is DeMeco Ryans taking with him down to Texas?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the whole window changes, and now after all of that nonsense, that's why they so salty. After all of that nonsense, they right back where they started from at the beginning of the year.
Oh no, they're even worse, Marcus, because now they don't have a quarterback.
Exactly. So it's back to Trey Lance.
They have
They
7
lost the
backups. They have no
brainchild of the
starter.
defense, which is the main identity of that team, and they're out 4 quarterbacks at this point. Now, Purdy might, in best case scenario, be ready to go by opening day, but
I don't see that happening.
I don't think it's going to be either. I think you're looking at maybe October, November for him if we're looking realistically. So what's the answer? Trey Lance, there's no timetable on him. So they're in way worse conditions than they were the last 2 years. And they had
Jimmy
a window.
G's gone. Pretty much Jimmy G's
Chrome,
gone.
Trey Lance will be in Tennessee in 2 months. Don't you worry.
Maybe.
Don't you worry.
The
best case scenario for them was 46-year-old Tom Brady was going to go over there and save him. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm going to go to TV now.
They go get some of that sand down there where he returned.
Right. All right. Well, let's get into our score predictions. Offense and defensive player of the game and our MVP for Super Bowl 57. All right, we're about 4.5 hours away from kickoff right now. Haven't changed in 2 weeks. Wonder if anybody else has. 27-24. I think this comes down to it's a 24-24 game. We get the football.
I got to bow out real quick. 34-24. I'll be right back.
34-24. I just think that we have that drive. That really check mark drive. Makes sense? Yeah. That check mark drive that y'all can't say nothing anymore.
Everything to the season.
Yup. Night drive.
Yep.
Night drive. And they get the ball back with about 45 seconds left. Okay? The Chiefs, and we make a big play. That's how I feel like it happens. I feel like we get the drive from Jalen for the field goal, and we end up, everybody's going to assume, they're going to drive down and tie it up, right? Yeah, Mahomes. Nope. So that's how I sort of see it playing out.
To me, I'm staying right where I was on Wednesday, pretty much all week, all the 2 weeks. I'm going 31-27. I think this is a game where you get up, to like a 10, 13-point lead, entering halftime, maybe even entering halfway through the third quarter. And I think this is going to be a hang on and let's just see what happens. Not a survival game, right? Because I don't want to put that on the Eagles. But we've seen it before. We've seen it against teams where Mahomes has played in the AFC, teams that he's played in the NFC in the Super Bowl. If he gets down 10 points, 14 points, hell, there's a couple games where he got down by 20-plus points. And it's, okay, when is Mahomes going to try and come back? It's all about getting through those scripted plays and Mahomes just going and being Houdini. I think he's going to have a really hard time with it, but there's still going to be that element of, okay, because of how quickly the Chiefs can score, because of Mahomes, Kelce, etc., even though they don't have Tyreek Hill anymore, I think you're going to get up to a lead and hang on for dear life and get into the locker room with a Super Bowl victory. So I think you get up early. I think you sustain it. I think it's going to be stressful because they're going to have the opportunity to maybe go up at the end of the game, but our defense comes through, and I have us winning 31-27.
All right, the Eagles are better everywhere. Even the places they're not better, which is quarterback and tight end, it's marginal. I got a roll job. I do. This team is good. This team is poised. This team is well coached. This is a 42-17 Eagles win. I haven't stressed out in the playoffs yet. I don't expect to today. Look, this team, it's been a weird season because we hit the ground running and we're the best team for 3-4 months. Then Jalen gets hurt and everybody forgets about us. Guess what? Now we're back. Okay? They've let up, 55 margin of victory in 2 playoff games, but they don't count because we injured their quarterback. Niners were healthy when they came into our house. They didn't leave healthy, and the Giants just weren't it. They weren't ready. But they did beat the Vikings. So the Vikings were even less ready than the Giants. So you played what's in front of you. I have 4, 5, 6 months of data that the Eagles are the best team in the league, and they blow team out after blow team out. They get pressure after pressure after pressure. They run for 200 yards upon 200 yards upon 200 yards. And I have no reason, why would I expect something that hasn't happened the whole damn season to happen today? This is a crowning moment for Jalen. Are we just doing scores, or should I give my players?
The score.
Okay, 42-17.
Yeah, so I'm sticking right around where I had it. I'm sticking it's a one-score game, 29-23 Birds. I think the defense is the factor here. I think that the ball's going to be in Kansas City's hands down the stretch. And I think we're going to get almost a repeat from 5 years ago, except it's going to be Haason Reddick this time. He's going to come up with a big sack, big turnover, some sort of a strip sack or whatever it is, or maybe just a fourth down sack on Patrick Mahomes. Lock it down. I'm going to keep it short and simple. Eagles, I think Jalen plays very well in this game. Eagles manage this game utilizing the run game with a couple deep shots at big points in the game. But overall, the defense is going to be the factor here. They'll contain Kelce as much as they can. They will not allow any of those other guys to take over this game or to be factors, and they're going to contain Patrick Mahomes. So for me, 29-23 Birds come out with the W.
All right.
Ralphie?
Oh, real quick. I'm going to stay what I had on Wednesday. It was 31-27 Birds.
All right, offense and defensive players of the game. I'll say the same thing as Wednesday. DeVonta Smith, 3 touchdowns. That's my baby. 3 TDs today. Who the fuck's covering him? Who's covering him today? That's
Rookies.
all.
Rookies. Rookies.
Just like the national championship game, we're going to see that kind of output from our young puppy DeVonta.
Said it on Wednesday. I think it's a cool silver lining. I'm going to go a little outside the box here. Wouldn't it be ironic if the storyline after winning a Super Bowl is not about Jalen Hurts? It's not about the wide receivers. Hell, it's not even about the defense. It's about, are we really going to let the Super Bowl MVP, Miles Sanders, out the door and not pay him? And I think it's very
They won't allow him to win it. They won't allow him to win it.
No.
Let me live my dream of chaos, Tom, because I know it's chaos.
I don't want that dream to come true. Because
I do. I do.
Well, no, because it backs your franchise up. Because then you got to pay the guy. Guy with Super Bowl MVP, you let him walk out the door.
Miles Sanders, he's not getting paid.
No, if you win Super Bowl MVP, you get paid. But the point is,
not
yeah, you don't want that. I feel like Jeffrey would come down and literally take the play sheet from Steichen.
Hurts might throw 60 times today just because of that.
Yep.
Jeffrey and the people upstairs, they can sulk during the parade about, oh my God, how the hell are we going to pay this guy? I'm going to go Miles Sanders, 3 touchdowns, because again, you can't win MVP as a running back with 2 touchdowns. So I'm going 3. I think it's perfect for what we're going to try and do with the game, especially in their red zone. I'm going to go Miles Sanders, offensive player of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to go AJ. I think AJ's poised to have a breakout game with one of those 2 touchdown type of games. It's been a while since we've really seen him have one of those really, really highly productive get in the end zone games. I think that this is a matchup nightmare for them. And we're going to see the big guy step up big. And in a bold prediction, which I meant to mention during my score prediction, we may finally get a trick play that lands Jordan Mailata, Goat Mailata, in the end zone here.
And this isn't a shot at you, Crow.
You don't have to trick anybody. Just line up and run it down everybody's fucking throat.
Well, this might be the time that we finally get that. I've been dying for it for years, and I think we might get it today.
This isn't a shot at you, Chrome, because I've literally heard it everywhere. The amount of talk about trick plays on both sides of the field, with Mahomes throwing it backwards, with Kelce running it in or catching a pass, with a Philly special, with the Philly. I don't need to see that ever in my life, especially when he's playing against the
fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, like I'm good. Like it's given. I don't like it. The amount of trick plays, like Doug Peterson isn't here anymore. Like
it's aggressive plays. Knock off the trick stuff. It's called aggressive play calling. It's called going for it on 4th down. That's the difference. That's where you show you're walking around with a wheelbarrow nutsack. All right, when you're willing to do those types of things.
Trick play, or whether he ends up lining up as a fullback, we might get that Mailata.
Listen. If it happens, I'll be excited in the moment. But I just want to put on record. I don't like it.
You're the worst.
I don't like it.
You go from comfortable. I mean, look how much of a fraud you're becoming. I mean, you go from comfortable win. Now Mailata's getting rushing TDs. I mean, Jesus, God, you might as well just go to Broad Street right now. You're done. You don't even got to watch the game.
Hey, I'll go camp out. I'll go 10 out right now.
Mailata getting
10
TDs.
up.
It's a storybook ending, Tom. That's right in Chrome's MO. That's a storybook ending.
Because he doesn't have a lot of winning MVP.
So many clips we could pull together for that.
Trick play starring Jason Kelce.
Nah, when you get too many weapons like that, man, do not take away from them weapons. Do what you do best. Run the ball down their throats. I would love to see Miles Sanders be the MVP or Gainwell, depending on how it goes. Because, like I said,
that one makes more sense because
their linebackers cannot cover our running backs. They can't do it. So there's an opportunity there. I don't think. I think Jalen Hurts is going to have probably around 40 to 50 yards running the ball. But I think it's going to be somebody in the air. It's either going to be, I think it's going to be AJ, because AJ's pissed because AJ hasn't had the best postseason, but not for lack of trying. You know, if Jalen doesn't miss that long pass against the 49ers, you know, he'd have been a lot happier at the end of that game. But I think it's either going to be AJ, DeVonta, and a long shot is Haason Reddick.
Q, what's up, baby? We are back. It feels good. I mean, it really does feel good. You know, like now we're like, we're used to this. That's why we're walking around with our chests out. That's why Brinks is making the statements he's making, because the days of being scared ended in 2017. The days of assuming something bad's going to happen, that was all washed away, baby.
Yeah,
all right, so now we're going to walk and talk like winners. Walk and talk like some goddamn winners.
And somebody had a poll this week. Maybe it was last week. This team is way better than 2017.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Way more.
We'll find out.
Way
hey, whoever thought the new normal was going to be about planting flowers and letting them grow?
Yeah.
Right. You can say whatever you want if you win.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Right. Well, the point about 2017, they got to win today. You know what I mean? You ain't better than nobody. You don't go win. That's just facts.
I don't.
It ain't played on. No, I mean, no, I know what you think they're going to win. I'm just saying they're better than 2017, of course, if they finish the job today. The roster's better, everything, for sure. For sure. And it arguably is, even if they don't, but if you don't win, you don't win. The other one did. They always got to be a step above you, even if the other roster's better.
The other guys
we're finishing the job. It don't matter.
Ralphie, did you go?
For my offense, it's going to be Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go quarterback. 3 touchdowns.
Sweet. Keep it simple. I like it. I like it.
Yeah,
hey, fellas, I got to bow out. I got to get up out of here.
All right, fellas.
All right. I'm going to leave it on and keep watching, but I got things to do.
Yeah, we are there. We're following you. We're following you. You're our fullback.
It's going to be
all right, fellas. Have a good
4
one.
hours.
See you, man.
4 hours before.
Go Birds. Don't start drinking too early.
No promises on that.
You got to kill some. You got to kill some time here. All right, Ralphie gave his. So defensive player.
Did you give your offensive player to game?
Yeah, I'm a Gainwell guy just because I bet him and it's like crazy odds. So.
It's not crazy though. It could make Reddick, a lot of sense.
And then I picked Reddick. I think he's 35-1 for MVP. Why not?
So he's my top pick. That's my MVP overall, defensive and overall. I got 2.5 sacks, and I got a force. You know, I'm gonna go 2.5 sacks. One of them being a strip sack at some point.
And then Marcus said Josh Sweat, so he's 200-1. So I couldn't help myself.
CJ Gardner-Johnson gets a pick today.
That's another good one. We have all these guys that could do it.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have 2 guys that can do it.
I'm gonna go. I said this on Wednesday. I'm gonna go Bradbury. I think he's gonna be influential. Not just the stat that's flying out there with what he's done against Travis Kelce. He held him just 4 receptions for 27 when they played the Giants last year. I think the guy's gonna be all over the place, man. I mean, I don't even think there's an argument. I understand there's one guy who's getting paid more and there's more flash, but James Bradbury's been our best cornerback in 2022, 2023. It just is what it is. With all of the credit, justifiably so, that they've been getting with the Haason Reddick signing and everything, James Bradbury is a great signing. It was a steal to be able to get him. And I think whether it's him stopping Travis Kelce or him stopping one of the others, whether it's Valdez, Scantling, or fill in the blank wide receiver that Mahomes is going to try to get the football to, I think it's going to be Bradbury. I have him getting the pick, and I have him getting paid this offseason.
All right, everybody gave their picks.
By us.
No, not by us. Ralphie?
I said I would love for it to be. I don't think it will.
I thought I already gave mine. Excuse me. Give me the guy that is his name is Big Play Slay. Give me Darius Slay with the interception. He's been too quiet for me, man. Too quiet. I need a pick. I need a pick from you today. Let's go, baby.
So no play Slay turns into big play Slay. I like
Correct.
it. All right. I like
no play Slay.
Well, listen. Yeah, well, right now it's been no play.
Yeah, because he just locks out. His coverage skills don't show up on the stat sheet.
Yeah, James Bradbury better have a good game. All right, because he's already got 1 foot out the motherfucking door, which I didn't like him even having that conversation this week.
Yeah, the Giants comment. Yeah,
that's why I hate this week, because you guys put foots in their mouths all the time. What are you talking about, bro? Like that can wait.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, but he was asked like straight up, like, would you go back to the Giants? Like he didn't come out and be like, oh, by the way, I'd love to go to the Giants. Like,
guys, does every guy need a publicist, like, to be able to answer a question? Like, you know what I mean? Because you know how it's going to be clipped. You know how it's going to be clipped, right? You know how it's going to look.
I get you.
I'm not like taking a massive shot at the guy, but you know how it's going to look. So you say, man, I ain't worried about the offseason right now. That's what you say. I ain't worried about that right now. I got a game to play. That's why I love Alshon. That's why I love
Alshon's interviews were amazing.
Alshon just tell you, like, I'm here to play football, man. And then guess what he went and did on Sunday?
He went
and played football that Sunday. So I don't need guys talking about you don't want to think about the offseason yet, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't have that thought in your head. Like, you're going to get paid, bro, either way. But you want to get paid more, you go win on Sunday. Okay? So you don't, like, I don't want to hear to say, hey, we'll talk about the offseason when it gets here. It's all you got to say.
The guy showed up to media day wearing sunglasses, spoke 2 words, and then he balled out on a torn labrum in the Super Bowl. That is a big move.
He said, I'm here to play football with sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I don't care about all this. We could have came here Friday. That's what he said. We could have stayed in Philly till Friday. Not saying it always plays like that, but that tells me a guy is focused, right, boys? A guy is ready to play the game of football. He ain't thinking about reuniting with the fucking New York Giants who let you walk anyway or cut you. They cut you.
Mean, to answer your question, Tom, yes, 95% of these guys do need a publicist to answer questions.
It's the easiest question in the world to answer. I just answered it in 2 seconds. I didn't even think about it. I got a game to play Sunday.
I mean, I hear you.
You go get a pick today. I'll take it. I'll go right like Homer Simpson back in the bush. You know what I mean? Nothing to see here. But you play bad today. For God forbid.
Listen.
I'm gonna be fucking smoking that dude after the game. Smoking him.
Listen, the guy can have 4 picks today. Listen, the guy can have 2 in a winning effort, and he can, in the first sentence of his press conference, James Bradbury could be like, "I hate the Eagles, I love the Giants." I'd be like, "Okay, I still love you because we won the game."
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
Like, I don't.
That's a different conversation.
Yeah,
you can say whatever the hell you want after you win. You can tell us all go fuck ourselves.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
and I'd be like, you know what? He's a great guy. He's
right. That's a winner. That's a winner. He knows us.
You can't do nothing wrong.
You know what, James? I'll go and do that. Thank you for the win.
Yeah.
But listen, a lot of talk this over the last 2 weeks. It's been weird, but it's been awesome.
Here, man.
Because we ran out. We almost ran out, right? You start to run out of having the same conversation, which is not a bad thing. Like, we asked for 2 more weeks and we got it. Mm-hmm. So, I know today, I ain't worried about nobody fucking leaving. You know what I mean? Because I'm so wrapped up at 6:30. I'll worry about everything after it, right, boys? We'll worry about everything that comes after the Super Bowl. But we should be all worried about, let's go win this damn thing. Let's go win this damn thing today. All right? Come on. We're here. We're freaking here.
Tom,
Look, it's hard to believe we're here. We didn't. You know why it's hard to believe sometimes? Because we didn't expect it. We knew we were good, but I don't know if anybody was thinking we're going to lay up line into the playoffs.
Tom, we made it a business, you and I, of saying back in 2017-18, 1 more week, and we continued doing that this year. We're not asking for 1 more week anymore. We're asking for 1 more win, and that's as simple as that. And we're going to get it. It's as simple as that.
Because 1 more win comes with a great offseason.
Yep.
Right, and we go in the next year.
And a lot of grease poles.
So let's go, boys. Let's go.
The
only guy got us losing is Titan because he's a jackass. But everybody else has us winning.
Make sure you guys too tell the fam out there after the game, come right back to A2D for post game.
Yeah, we'll see.
Tom's voice.
Well, because there will be a video regardless after the game, one way or the other, right? Like I'm not gonna not put out content. I just don't know if I got another one in me. You know what I mean? I don't. If they lose, I do not have that in me. I do not have that in me.
Oh my God!
Nope.
Yeah.
If they win, I got an hour for you. You know what I mean? I got an hour for sure. I'm not being a fraud. I just don't have that in me at 11:30 at night. The deal will go on there. I don't know, Josh. I don't know what time the fucking game's getting over. They're going to extend this shit like forever.
It might be over at 1 a.m. Rihanna might be on stage
ask
still.
Rihanna. It's honestly Rihanna's. It's her decision based on how many sets she's singing.
Well, you guys know by now. Follow us on all our socials. If for some reason there isn't a post game, there'll be post game. There'll be a post game video. Wayne, I know I can do it. Wayne, I do 1 million fucking shows a week. I feel like. I got everybody trying to pump me up. Shut the fuck up, Don. All right.
Be on tomorrow.
Hey, Don's a problem, man.
Let's get a win, and
Four
we're all
sounds
happy.
tomorrow.
Yep. Hopefully, Rob, you can keep shoving up Brad's ass tomorrow. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I had to take him to the woodshed. I felt bad.
That was
after
great.
listening to it.
No, you shouldn't feel bad at all because he couldn't get out of his own way. So when you can't get out of your own way, sometimes you got to put the hammer down on him, and you did. And guess what? I would tell you if you were wrong. You were spot on. I listened to about 40 minutes of that show because I loved that you were exposing them. So I just kept it playing because the exposing went on for a while. It didn't make any sense.
I'll
I
give
love
you.
the guy. It made no
I'll
sense.
give you
But the Knicks beat the Sixers, so
Oh yeah, so that's call it even, ladies and gentlemen. I'll give you a lock for tonight. If there's any sack of the Eagles defenders sacking Patrick Mahomes, my lock of the century is that there will quickly be a Brad Ryer post talking about how dirty that hit was, even though it wasn't. That's my lock. That's my lock of the century, and I'll leave it at that.
You know what my lock of the century is? We're winning this football game today. And when we're done, people are still going to find excuses.
Yeah.
Brad picked the Eagles. I was shocked.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I'm surprised. And he picked them in a comfortable win, actually.
Well, because he obviously gets it.
I have it written right here. He said 37-34. I'm the only. I mean, I don't know what everyone else picked. But I got to be the biggest blowout in my prediction.
Yeah, I think so.
Before
Chrome
31-17.
Before Chrome went rogue on Wednesday night,
37-24 is what he had.
I might have typed it. I think I typed it to Frank maybe a little wrong.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he said 37. I have it written down here. I was supposed to text Frank 37-34.
Yeah.
So either I screwed up, which is probably what happened,
I think,
or Frank screwed up. We'll go Frank screwed up.
Yeah, I'll put the odds on that. Chrome, I'll give you another lock too, and you'll see it firsthand. Whether win or lose, around 10:30, 10:45, there's gonna be some of us that are gonna be inconsolable. Win or lose, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of stuff happening.
I'm gonna be hydrated for sure.
Yeah,
I'll be on the ground somewhere.
Yeah,
boys, great shit. Stay tuned for the post-game show. Agree to disagree coming up. Obviously after the Super Bowl. Enjoy it. We're about 4 hours away. Go do something to take your mind off it for a minute, right? And let's fucking go. I'm ready for kickoff. The rest is all bullshit. Go Birds. Let's go. Second trophy in 5 years. The city of winners is back. See you all motherfuckers after the game.
Let's go.
And then I'll see you all on Broad Street.
Go Birds.
For everybody that was on, we appreciate you. And we'll all see you this week again on all our different shows. So hit the like, hit the subscribe. We're out of here.